Crosby for the Green Bay Packers, who has picked up his game in practice and is on a nice little roll right now after slumping at the end of last season. There you see Josh Wilson, who is deep back for Seattle. He is a fourth-year player out of Maryland and a guy who returned a couple of interceptions a season ago for touchdowns. This should be a nice test. They'll play the starters mostly next week through half and maybe into the third quarter. But with about 5,000 Packer fans in attendance here at Quest Field, nice atmosphere for preseason game number 2.
Very anxious to see this defense, Kevin. They did not start well last week. They'll be without 3 starting linebackers. Clay Matthews, A.J. Hawk, and Nick Barnett not going to play. Without 2 starters in the secondary as well. Charles Woodson, Atari Bigby. This will be a real test for this defense.
Seahawks beats the Tennessee Titans last week by 2. Wilson will take it deep in the end zone and bring it out for his Seattle team. There's Swain among a couple that were down there with the hip, along with Desmond Bishop and Hall, all getting a hand in there on the tackle. 20-yard return. So you take a look at the defensive line of Pickett, Raji, and Cullen Jenkins. And here's where the changes come in. Francois for Hawk, and Chiller will at least begin the game for Brad Jones at that outside backer. And the secondary, Charles Woodson stayed home. Tremont Williams on one side, Underwood at the other. Here's a first down and 10, and making a miss is Julius Jones. Chiller among a couple in there after a gain of a yard to the 16-yard line for Seattle. Papinga got a hand in there. Matt Hasselbeck is the 35-year-old quarterback for the Seahawks.
Well, I think he needs to play well in the preseason. There's a reason they went out and got Charlie Whitehurst. He did not play well last week. He's got to get off to a better start.
It is second down and 9, and this is Forsett who takes the ball and runs outside. Or was that, Justin Forsett picking up 2 on the play, and the tackle was made again by Cullen Jenkins. It'll be third down and 7, so already a better start on defense.
Just watch this group up front getting off the ball. You look at B.J. Raji and they're getting off of double teams, and right there, nice job on the outside, closing. Real nice job by Cullen Jenkins.
Jared Bush will come in for Green Bay. So they got, right now, 5 defensive backs on this third and 7. Hasselbeck off the fingertips and incomplete with the coverage by Lee. They were going for the one-time Super Bowl MVP with the New England Patriots. Deion Branch, 3 and out. They got a punt.
Real nice job by Pat Lee. A little double move where they start him inside. He works back outside. Nice job by sitting at home, Pat Lee there, driving on that throw. Made it very difficult for Matt Hasselbeck.
Will Blackman is deep back. He'll make his preseason debut. Ryan with the punt for Seattle. Former Packer. Blackman. And was doused on the play by Jordan Babineau. 65-yard punt, 12-yard return. Aaron Rodgers completed the first 10 passes last week and finished rich against the Cleveland Browns, 12 of 13.
Kevin, I thought he looked really sharp. 12 of 13 last week, 159 yards and a touchdown. And the way he's seeing the field, the ball's coming out quick. I thought he handled the pressure last week. Cleveland brought some pressure early in that game. Not something you'd expect in the first preseason game. He had all the answers.
Trenton Haller in the backfield. College will be the left guard. First and 10. The fake to Grant. Blocked by Clifton. Blocked by Hall. Going deep for Jennings. He's caught him! Oh, what a catch! 15-yard line, and he beats Jennings, a 56-yard strike and a first down for Green Bay.
And Kevin, you and I were talking before the game about Aaron Rodgers, his ability to get outside the pocket and make these kind of throws down the field. And Greg Jennings comes up with big play after big play in this offense. But boy, great anticipation by Aaron Rodgers, and I love the play call by Mike McCarthy. Come out, take a shot on first down.
I love the protection. Hall and Kuhn are back there with Grant on a first and 10. Grant And a gain of about 2 on the play. Lawyer, Malloy, and Terrell were in there making a stop for Seattle. We told you about college beginning the game at left guard tonight. Clifton and Tauscher's tackle positions are manned by those longtime starters. Jennings caught a touchdown pass last week, a big 56-yarder right there. Jones starting for Driver, who's back in Green Bay and watching us tonight. 2nd and 8. Lee is the tight end. Good block by College. Finley couldn't get it. Coverage on the play by David Hawthorne. 3rd and 8 coming up.
The thing I like about Aaron, he just has these quick answer throws. He started to his left, it wasn't there. He wheeled right back inside, tried to find the tight end, but he's playing. We talk about playing the game fast, and that's what Aaron does. Now he's in his 3rd year. I think things have slowed down for him a little bit. He's processing the information so much more efficiently. The ball is coming out very quick.
Nelson is the 3rd receiver. Finley atop your screen. 3rd and 8. Grant back there with Aaron Rodgers. Caught. Finley. He's down to the 1. He picks up 12. They'll move the chains. He was working on Kelly Jennings. 12-yard gain. 1st and goal.
How about the respect that they have for Finley? They put a corner on Finley. Jennings right there. Good job by Aaron Rodgers, just trusting that Jermichael Finley at the top of this route is going to come right back to the quarterback. Wants to put his foot in the ground and come right back.
Nice hands too, huh? This guy has worked out so much in a 2-point stance, although they, as you see right now, are going to put him in a 3-point stance.
He's like a wide receiver. He catches the ball very well away from his body.
1st and goal. Rodgers, Kuhn, touchdown. That's a 1-yard touchdown pass by Aaron Rodgers. For a 2nd consecutive week, Kuhn is in the end zone. And a very efficient first offensive possession for Green Bay.
And what did we see here? We saw moving the location for the quarterback. A lot of quarterback movement, getting Aaron out on the edges, the ball coming out quick, and a number of different people touching the ball. We see Kuhn there with the touchdown. Ryan Grant gets a carry, the big play to Jennings. Finley getting a touch, spreading the ball around in this offense.
Crosby makes it a 7-0 lead for Green Bay. 5 plays, 71-yard drive, highlighted by this 56-yard completion to Jennings. Right on the money, and the touchdown pass. And the Pack on top by 7. 11:15 to play in the first from Seattle. Last 3 seasons leads the NFL with 21 receptions of 40 yards or more. He lassos a 56-yard strike from that guy, Aaron Rodgers. What a great start on offense and defense for Green Bay.
Much different than a week ago, and that's what Mike McCarthy talked about earlier today. So we want to come out of the gates early on both sides of the ball.
Special teams. Crosby can't get Wilson. Bishop can't get Wilson. Lee finally brings them down. They were a problem last week, and they continue to be a problem tonight. 55-yard return. Seattle is going to get great beginning field position when we come back. Slocum, special teams coordinator, they have revamped or tried to revamp their special teams coming into this season.
It's a frustrating job for Sean Slocum right now because you have a lot of different players rolling through there, and a number of your key contributors aren't even active tonight. Guys like A.J. Hawk, Clay Matthews, Brad Jones, not available, so you have to plug in some young players, and there comes the mistakes.
Justin Forsett in the backfield in the offset eye. The back of 49, 1st and 10. Oh, what a nice stop by Brady Papinga, the former BYU defensive end. Moving to a linebacker in this 34. It's a pickup of about a yard to the 48.
Boy, nice job. That defensive line getting pressure there, and Brady Papinga coming off of blocks. Really been impressed with the way Cullen Jenkins has started tonight.
Pickett leaves. The defensive back has been brought in. Packers at 5. DBs right now. 2nd down and 9. After the 54-yard kickoff return. Hasselbeck. Nice looking throw and catch. Burnett makes the stop on Mike Williams. He played for Pete Carroll at USC. He's had a very poor NFL career. 17-yard pickup, first down to the 31.
Well, this is just their two-deep coverage, and the corner right here has to sink. You can't turn that receiver, Mike Williams, on the Morgan Burnett like that. And that's a technique error. Mike McCarthy talked to us earlier about that today. These young corners not doing a better job in two-deep coverage, funneling these receivers. You can't give them a clean release in the secondary.
4 in the Packers secondary. Pickett back in, 1st and 10. On the money.
Well, they're going right to work on Brandon Underwood, aren't they?
Yep, the catch was made by Hushmanzada. 15-yard gain. Underwood, you're right, makes the stop, first down.
Well, you have a veteran quarterback in Matt Hasselbeck and a veteran receiver like T.J. Hushmanzada, and they see a guy like Brandon Underwood in the game, and they're going to take some shots early. You have to hold up in one-on-one coverage.
Now just 2 defensive linemen for the Packers. The nickel again. Cooper's looking at 5 defensive backs. He wants to use the dime, the 6 defensive backs. 1st and 10 from the Green Bay 16. Mike Williams. The 2-time Pro Bowler Collins is there, upending him after a gain of about 6. 2nd down and 4 coming up from the 11.
Kevin, you and I talked earlier about Matt Hasselbeck. I mean, it's not been a very good preseason for him, and they need to get it going with the ones. He was sacked in each of his first 2 series last week, looked real sloppy. They only managed 3 points in 3 possessions despite starting 2 of those drives in Tennessee territory. And he's got a guy right behind him that this organization really likes. Charlie Whitehurst, who's played very well so far this preseason.
Pack still in the nickel. 2nd down and 4. It's going to go like his 3rd option here. Touchdown! What a catch, Deion Branch. Collins is the one that may have been beaten. That's an 11-yard touchdown pass by former Packer Matt Hasselbeck.
Well, too much time. You can't give a quarterback like Hasselbeck that much time in the pocket. He does a nice job sliding and moving around. Look at this creativity. But Colin Jenkins can't pull up. That makes it very difficult on a safety like Nick Collins when you give a guy like Branch that much time in the back of the end zone.
Stitzer, Clint Stitzer, who is out of Fresno State, will try the extra point, and it was got in. Was it deflected, or was it just a bad kick?
It's a low kick. I don't know if it was a great hold. It was a low kick coming off of his foot.
Matt Hasselbeck on that drive was 4 of 4 for the Seahawks. And he had some nice plays on that drive. 15-yard pass to Walker, 15 to Hushmanzada. Aaron Rodgers has thrown a touchdown pass for Green Bay. Moments ago, Hasselbeck just threw a touchdown pass of 11 yards for the Seattle Seahawks. And that was the drive. It was quick. It was all set up on a 54-yard kickoff return. And speaking of that, there's a guy who's going to return this kick for the Packers, Brandon Jackson.
I like Brandon Jackson in the return game. He's very decisive. It's one cut and he's downhill, and that's what you want out of your returner. Not a lot of indecision. You don't have time for it.
Stitzer, who was just signed a couple days ago, and Jackson out of Nebraska on the fly from the 11. A nice special teams play right there. Adams, Jamar Adams, the first to hit him. And a return of 12 yards. Tied at 7. And the extra point by Stitzer with a shot Pele would have enjoyed. Right between the... A look at Aaron Rodgers, who through just a handful of snaps has put up some terrific numbers.
Yeah, you look at that this preseason, he's been awesome, and I really like Aaron Rodgers. 32 career starts, and the thing that's impressed me the most is 19 of those starts without an interception, and in 18 he's had 100 or more passer rating. Doesn't make a lot of poor decisions, and the best thing about Aaron Rodgers, he puts his team in a position to win each week. That's the sign of a good quarterback in this game.
He'll be protected by the new left guard, the rookie out of Iowa. Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. First-round draft choice, Brian Bulaga. 1st and 10. 2 tight ends. Rodgers. Jennings! Wow, just about had it. Nice defensive play by a guy who's one of the best in the business, former first-round pick, Marcus Trufant. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Think about the guys Mike McCarthy has coached. Brett Favre. Joe Montana, Rich Gannon. I wonder how he puts Rodgers among those guys.
Well, I had my feelings hurt this week. I read an article where Mike was talking about fundamentally, this is the best quarterback that he's ever worked with in his career in Aaron Rodgers. And he's just very gifted. You mentioned Brett Favre and Joe Montana. I mean, that's some elite company. He just really looks at his profile. It's as good as there is. His athleticism.
There's Grant with the catch and run. The tackle made by Malloy. Getting out there leading the way was Josh Sitton, a gain of 8. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Well, Kevin, you talk about a quarterback's profile and all the things that he does well, not only in terms of his arm strength, his decision-making, his athleticism, his ability to get outside the pocket and extend plays with his legs, his smarts. I think this is what you're looking for in today's quarterback, a guy that plays the game fast, is very accurate, and displayed some real toughness in his first.
Out around Tauscher. He's one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL, and he scampers for the first down. Aaron Rodgers on the move, pocket crumbling, picks up 3. Rodgers, one of the best running quarterbacks, as we said, in the NFL, number 2 last year in the league.
And this is the beauty of making plays with your legs and keeping drives alive on a critical 3rd down situation, the ability to get outside the pocket and run for first downs. He also had 4 rushing touchdowns a year ago.
Good point.
And you have to be able to move. Escapability is so important at that position.
2 tight ends, Jordy Nelson atop your screen. Rodgers still has not been sacked in this preseason. It's a 1st and 10 from the 35. You see the flag.
Nice job with the hard count there by Aaron Rodgers.
And how would that sound? What's the quarterback with his cadence? I mean, that's such an important thing.
He does, and everyone's different.
Number 94, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You get a chance to really dial in here and listen to Aaron Rodgers.
And guys practice this, don't they, this hard count? Let's give a listen to this. So would you practice that?
Yeah, you'd actually practice. You got to work on your cadence and your rhythm, and Aaron Rodgers has a very good one. He learned it from one of the game's best, Brett Favre.
Crabtree remains the 2nd tight end. 1st and 5. Fake to Grant. You see Finley. Oh, he makes people miss. He's got the 1st down. The catch and run near the 50-yard line. He picks up 11 yards on the play. An emerging star in the NFL is Jermichael Finley. Will Herring knocked him out of bounds.
Well, they like to move him around, and they're moving Aaron around a lot too, and I think that's important early in the game. But Jermichael Finley in the open field, Kevin, is a very difficult guy to bring down.
Seems to be a pretty good student of the game too, working on his craft in the offseason.
He's worked very hard, and he's a real threat down in the red zone.
Hall in the backfield with Grant. Crabtree remains the tight end. Probably the best blocking tight end in camp. Clifton picked up his guy. Going deep. There he's going for Jennings. And incomplete. Boy, they had all kinds of coverage on Jennings. Deep. There was a flag, as we told you. The rookie out of Texas, Earl Thomas, and that guy, Kelly Jennings, who they've been picking on early in this game. We're back defending. It looks like it will be on the Seahawks.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Number 21, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
You got 5 yards with which to do that.
Kelly Jennings has his hands full. You just see right here, he's going to jam it. He knows Greg's going to the corner. He's got to do something right there to stop it.
How much do you want to show of your offense in the preseason? I mean, we know he can throw deep. He's got one of the best deep balls in the league, but they've gone deep a couple times already in this game.
Well, that's a big part of who they are. I mean, the ability to send someone down the field, and I think Aaron Rodgers throws the ball as well as anybody at that position, those deep throws, and Greg Jennings has great speed to get up on the second level.
Beluga remains the left guard. It is 1st and 10. Grant, lead block by Hall. Nice tackle by Marcus Trufant with a gain of a yard on the play. Knocking Grant head over heels. Grant was knocked into next week last week with a concussion against Cleveland.
Well, they want to get him some carries early in this game. Mike said he thought he was looking for the big run rather than running the ball up inside with some power, and he needs reps as well. You think about his start last week. wasn't pretty. He put the ball on the ground in his first carry. He comes back in the second carry, takes a shot to the head, and we don't see him the rest of the night. The other thing is you want to get this guy's confidence back. Really important coming off an injury like that.
Nelson, the third receiver, and the change of play, we think, at the line by Rodgers. 2nd down and 9. Grant. And with the block by Bulaga, who is pulling, it's a gain to the 39, and he picks up about 4 yards on the play. And then all kinds of Seahawks down there making the stop, including Red Bryant. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
You know, sometimes backs try to be home run hitters. You think of Chris Johnson in Tennessee, and Mike said a little bit last week with Ryan, he was looking for that big run rather than those 3- and 4-yard runs that eventually become 8- and 9-yard runs later in the game. And that's what they want in this offense. Be decisive, head downhill, one cut. A little indecisive last week with
Ryan 34,
Grant.
Finley is wide, bottom of your screen. Grant in the backfield with Rodgers. Right on the money, it's caught by Finley. That's a 1st down to the 27-yard line. Marcus Trufant makes the stop. It's a pickup of 12. Earlier on this drive, Finley caught one for 11. 1st down.
Well, the ability to displace your tight end, Jermichael Finley, and match him up with corners and have him still win those matchups. And I think this is impressive. He's just going to run the slant route, but look how far off Trufant is. Because Finley's a big player. Kevin, he's a big guy with these long arms, and he's very difficult to cover in space.
What a mismatch he gives you. 1st and 10. Grant, Finley with the block. Finley opens the hole. Grant diving to the 19-yard line and brought down by Walter Thurman along with Earl Thomas. A pickup of 8. Let's go downstairs to Jesse Garcia.
Kevin, I wanted to tell you about a new kind of off-season training that Jermichael Finley has been doing, and that is boxing. He took it up to help his upper body strength and to help shed defensive backs and also to work on his timing and his endurance. And he said it's hard. 3 rounds of 3 minutes each will wipe you out. He got some other teammates into it too, including Charles Woodson. Now that we are in camp, he goes into the sauna and does shadow boxing. Overall, he said it's really been an addition to his training. Guys?
It is 2nd down and 2. Jones, drill. To the 16-yard line goes James Jones. Picked up a yard, perhaps 2 on the play. He was smothered by all kinds of defenders for the Seahawks. They'll mark the ball at the 16-yard line. Rodgers again continues with some terrific passing, does Aaron, on this drive and really through the game so far. For Green Bay, it will be a 1st and 10. He has 103 yards through the air, and his throwing so far for Green Bay is 7 of 9. 12 of 13 last week. 2 tight ends, including Liam Crabtree. Grant. He's running hard now, running downhill. Hawthorne brings him down after a hard-earned 5 yards, Rich to the 11-yard line.
Well, it's good to see Brian Grant running downhill, 1 cut, and running behind that 1st-round pick, Brian Bulaga, who's in the game now. And I think that this is something you just keep an eye on. Bulaga right here does a nice job coming up. Now watch him try and get up on the 2nd level. Talk about that zone run scheme, the ability to get those guards, to get those double teams with Scott Wells as center, and then get one of the 2 off up onto the 2nd level to get a hat on one of those linebackers.
Nelson, the 3rd receiver in the slot near side. They got the tight end Finley. 2nd down and 5. Rodgers to the end zone and out of the reach of Jennings. Coverage on the play was provided by Roy Lewis. 3rd down and 5. Well, when you look at where the expansion is going to come in Rodgers' game, where is it? Where have he and Mike McCarthy charted where he needs to go next?
I think it's the little things. Just giving Aaron more responsibility at the line of scrimmage, the ability to get in and out of bad plays, to change protections. I think this offense will continue to evolve, and really it's centered around a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the game.
You think he's becoming more aggressive with his passes? And do you like him being more aggressive with his passes?
Well, I think he's being more selective. At the same time, you know, he doesn't turn the football over. I think just 7 interceptions last year, Kevin. When you think about the amount of times this guy threw the football, it's really impressive. But you got to be smart. He's got a big-time arm. He's got a lot of confidence in it. But you can't make poor decisions. And that's the thing that's really impressed me the most about Aaron Rodgers. You know, back-to-back 4,000-yard seasons through the air, but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
there was a great story in the Journal Sentinel today about things he's trying to do, and part of that was how he takes great pride in looking off receivers, using his eyes to try to maneuver what the defense might react to.
Well, again, I harken back to what Brett did. I mean, Brett's ability to pump and to move a defense one way and come back the other way. I think Aaron had a chance to sit there and watch him for a number of years and really take all that in. And now he has the opportunity to go out and do it himself.
The truck play of the drive coming up, 3rd down and 5. Brandon Jackson has come in the game. Rodgers pulls a bullet. That's a touchdown. His second touchdown pass tonight. Jermichael Finley. An 11-yard touchdown pass by Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers back on top of Seattle.
This is going to be a problem for this defense. I mean, the ability to move him around on the right side, on the left side, just go down the middle of the field here. A linebacker is going to have a problem with Jermichael Finley. And there's a blown assignment there. There's no reason why a guy like Finley should be that wide open in that part of the field.
Crosby. Packer offense has done it fast. 5-play and a touchdown drive. That time, 12 plays and a touchdown drive. Culminating on an 11-yard touchdown pass to the Texas Longhorn, Jermichael Finley. Aaron Rodgers has just thrown his second touchdown pass tonight. Finley from 11 yards. He's not been sacked in preseason. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes in preseason. His numbers are off the charts.
And that guy right to his left, Tom Clements, does a great job coaching the quarterback position. I always thought it was important to have a guy that played the position, coach the position. Tom Clements, a great player in Notre Dame and also in the Canadian Football League. He's done a wonderful job working with Aaron Rodgers.
You've had a lot of quarterback coaches. You've had a lot of offensive coordinators. The relationship that a quarterback has with his head coach, though, might be the most important relationship he has. Most important on the team.
It's really important. And there has to be a certain trust factor there. And I think that has evolved to where Aaron really has a lot of trust in Mike. And he's able to go to him early in the week with some suggestions about the game plan. Mike will listen to him, incorporate those things. And that's all part of the development, the process that is very important for this offense.
2-4-5 defense for Green Bay. Forsett runs outside. Not a lot of room right there. You see Bishop getting off the pile, losing a yard as Forsett back to the 19-yard line as they continue to look at the plays from the previous drive, which was almost 7 minutes long.
Yeah, really a good drive. And I've been really impressed with this defense tonight, Kevin, the way they've stopped the run. And that's really their hallmark. They were the best in football last year, #1 at stopping the run. And when you can stop the run on early downs, it really makes things a whole lot easier later in the series.
Back to a 34 defense, 2nd down and 11. Hasselbeck, tight end with the catch. Carlson across the way. Bishop thought the ball was jarred free. It was not. The gain to the 26.
Well, they want to dictate. They want to dictate the pace and the flow of this game from a defensive standpoint. In order to do that, as we just talked about, you have to stop the run on the early downs. And no one did it better than the Packers a year ago. And you think about the improvements with Dom Capers. They went from number 20th in total defense to number 2. Number 26 versus the run to number 1 last year. Huge improvement in their first year in this 3-4 defense.
Back to 2 linemen, 3rd down and 5. Hasselbeck. Oh, that's a nice looking catch. Hushmanzada, 1st down. Working on the corner across the way. Underwood was beaten. Gain of 6. Gain to the 32.
Well, Brandon Underwood right now has his hands full with TJ Hushmanzada. I think he's playing too far off. He's giving him too much respect. You have to come up and get some hands on a guy like TJ Hushmanzada.
First quarter's come to a close. 2 Rodgers touchdown passes. Hasselbeck had one himself. 14-7 at the end of 1 Green Bay. Packers on top 14-7 with Rich Gannon. Jesse Garcia is on the sideline. Larry McCarron, Kevin Harlan. Well, we're seeing a lot of different things from the secondary. Al Harris, of course, is still coming back from the blown knee, torn hamstring. Dom Capers is somehow got to maneuver guys to take their places, at least through preseason.
Well, I think the important thing is that some of these younger players really step up and perform. And a real good opportunity for guys like Pat Lee and Brandon Underwood and Tramon Williams to make an impact, as well as some of these safeties that they're going to get an opportunity, extended opportunity tonight with the injuries.
It is a 1st and 10. Hasselbeck, and he is going for Hushmanzada. There is a flag on Tramon Williams. It was a pretty vanilla defense, we should say, for Green Bay. There's no
Pass
blitzing.
interference, number 38, defense, automatic, first down.
Well, I think the focus for Dom Capers and his defense tonight is that they want to play their base defense. They want to see how these guys perform. And you see right here, TJ Hushmanzada does a nice job. Pretty good coverage there, but right at the top of that route, you see Tremont Williams. They just panic a little bit, just tries to grab TJ's right arm. You just can't do that.
2, 4, 5 defensive alignment.
There's some pressure.
About a 14-yard penalty. Collins on the blitz. First one we've seen here on this particular series. Incomplete. Hushmanzada. He had Bishop deep, and underneath he had Tremont Williams.
Some miscommunication there. See the quarterback expecting TJ to go deep, throws it deep, and Hushmanzada right here winds up breaking it off. You can see the frustration from a veteran quarterback like Hasselbeck. Just watch his reaction.
How about the block by Leon Washington, who's the new running back now for Seattle? Former Jet broke his leg, didn't play much last year. Again, just the 2 defensive linemen. The Pingett coming in. Hasselbeck on that second down and 10 picks up 4 yards on the play. And Mike Williams makes his second catch tonight, just by midfield. In fact, they're in Packer territory. The largest turnover of any roster in the NFL last season to this is the Seattle team.
Well, Pete Carroll and John Schneider, they said they wanted to create competition at every position. I believe they've done that with trades, free agency, and the draft.
6 defensive backs. Third down. Oh, Carlson, the tight end, couldn't hang on. Jarrett Bush, who was the dime in that sequence, may have held on.
Well, penalties in the secondary.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 22, defense.
Pat Lee.
5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, they're so thin right now in the secondary, and that's really going to limit what Dom Capers can do defensively in terms of the scheme.
2 Green Bay penalties on this drive. On their defense, this will spot the ball at the 45-yard line. So on the defensive line, Raji remains, Pickett, and Jenkins. So back to the 34. 1st and 10. Offensive penalty.
False start, illegal snap, number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Chris Spencer, who's been a 5-year starter at that center position for this organization.
Well, every once in a while, you're the center, you forget the snap count. It's not a good thing.
No.
And Matt Hasselbeck is a veteran guy as well, and he uses a hard count. Every once in a while, you fool your own guy.
What would you say in the huddle to a guy that made that?
I'd remind him. I'd say, hey, sit in, hard count. Particularly with the center there who's a little jumpy. He should be. He's got B.J. Raji in front of him.
1st and 15, 4 in the secondary. That's caught by Hushmanzada. Then dropped. Nope, made the catch, they say, to the 32-yard line. 18-yard pickup, a good throw. Collins was in the vicinity against the Pro Bowler Hushmanzada.
I've always liked TJ Hushmanzada. He's a very good route runner. He's a tough guy. He's willing to go in the middle of the field. He does a nice job deciphering man and zone. And right here in the zone coverage, you see him sit down between the linebacker and safety.
Washington on 1st down and 10. Tripped up for Pinga and Desmond Bishop. Bring him down after a gain of 4. He's down to the 28-yard line.
Well, one area where I think this defense is going to be better is up front. I really like B.J. Raji at the nose. I think Colin Jenkins. I think Ryan Pickett moving outside. He won't get as many double teams out there. I think this group is really going to set the tone for this defense. That's really going to help them in the back end.
Jenkins leaves. 2 defensive linemen. Lee comes in, 5 in the secondary. And it's 2nd down and 6. Hasselbeck. Looking for Williams. Oh, he makes the catch across the way. Underwood was beaten again.
Boy, both teams doing a very good job moving the quarterback outside the pocket. When your protection breaks down, it's great to be able to have a quarterback and change his launch point. These corners, to me, Kevin, right now, they look like fish out of water. They don't look comfortable.
Challenge by Green Bay. And Coach Mike McCarthy. If this Mike Williams sounds familiar, he was originally number 10 pick by the Detroit Lions out of USC back in 05. He's played for about 4 or 5 teams. Raiders, Jacksonville, all over the league.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. We'll review the play.
And now he wants to try to stick with the Seattle team with his college coach, now on the pros, Pete Carroll. With the challenge and just under 13 minutes to play, let's see if we can figure it out ourselves. Knees are down. I think it's a catch. We'll find out when we come back. This reception ruled a completion on the field, so the replay's got to prove otherwise.
I think it's a catch. You see him right down. He brings the ball, well, whether or not it touches the ground, but it's tough to see there with the shadowing.
Green Bay will be charged with their first timeout.
17-yard pickup, first down, and 10 to go at the 10. So they still can get a first down.
Well, one area they've worked long and hard at this offseason defensively is their red zone defense. And, you know, Mike was not happy with that particular facet of the defense last year. And I think that one of the things that he talked about is more vision to the football in the secondary. I think what that means is probably a little less man-to-man in this part of the field.
5 defensive backs. Zumbo is one outside backer. First down and 10. Washington in the backfield. Leon Washington. Oh, what a great block by Spencer. Touchdown, Washington with the center. Spencer bulldozing, open that hole. An 11-yard touchdown run.
Well, that's a huge hole right up front there. I think Francois, you see him here. He's got to stay backside. We talk about gap responsibility in the defense there, and I think that Francois, the second-year player, was a little bit aggressive there. Got out in front of that.
Stitzer puts it in. The watch 65. Pushing out Jenkins. Opening the door. Washington walks through. We're tied at 14. Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay has thrown 2 touchdown passes, one of a yard to Kuhn, one of 11 yards to Finley, and 2 consecutive touchdowns by Seattle. 11-yard touchdown pass to Branch, 11-yard touchdown run moments ago by Leon Washington. Finley, by the way, for Green Bay, 4 receptions, 3 of them converting third down. So now the ensuing kickoff by the Seahawks and our buddy Clint Stitzer. Keep back Brandon Jackson.
Good chance to see Matt Flynn now.
Yep, first team offense probably finished for Green Bay. Jackson. Well, we got a nice little block in there. Reeves is way up past the 30, which is one of the goals of this kickoff unit. Tackle was made by Earl Thomas, 27-yard return. There's a look at Pete Carroll. He's been around the NFL, though recently at college at USC, but he was at the Minnesota Vikings as the defensive backs coach for 5 years in 87, 88. One of the quarterbacks on the Vikings was none other than Rich Gannon.
Wow, as a rookie.
Yeah.
Think about Pete Carroll. People think of him as a college coach, but he's got a lot of experience in the NFL. Started in Buffalo, in Minnesota, the Jets, New England as a head coach, San Francisco.
Matt Flynn, 1st and 10, looking downfield. He's got Swain at the 50-yard line. Coming off the ACL, there was a flag thrown. Tackle was made by
Personal
Jennings,
foul,
21-yard
roughing
pickup.
the passer, contact to the helmet. Number 94 defense. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Kevin Vickerson, the ex-Titan.
Nice job extending the ball. Good play action. And watch Matt Flynn step up here. Good accurate throw to Brett Swain across the middle. That's how you want to start out a series with a completion. See Kevin Vickerson getting his hand up there by the face mask.
Bulaga now is moved to left tackle. College remains at left guard. Spitz is playing the center. Giacomini has come in at the right tackle. TJ Lang is the right guard. Jackson the backfield. Lee on the move. 1st and 10 from the 34.
False start. That might have been on Malaga. That was Collins.
False start, number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And Kevin, when you and I talked with Mike McCarthy, he was happy with the play of the first offensive line last week, but not the second group. He thought they were sloppy. They didn't do a very good job with protections. He thought a number of times they let players run up inside there and get some pressure on Matt Flynn. That shouldn't have happened.
Kuhn is in with Jackson. 1st and 15. Good block by Giacomini. Nice catch by Nelson. To the 20. Dancing his way into Cam Chancellor's tackle. 19-yard pickup. Flynn, good pass.
And this is what I wanted to see from Matt Flynn tonight. Decisive, the ball coming out quick, very accurate. Doing a nice job there protecting the receiver. You know, he definitely has total command of this offense. Now it's just a question of putting it all together.
Charles Dillon is the third receiver. 1st and 10 from the 20. Jackson. Good block by College. Burrows his way for 6 to the 14.
You think about this offensive line now, you know, some of these guys have some experience. You know, they've been here a couple of years now, and I think it's really important for this group to play well. Good movement up front. You see the push. This is really what I like about Brandon Jackson. Very decisive. He runs with his pads low. He always seems like he's falling forward at the end of runs.
Corliss and Lee are the 2 tight ends. 2nd down and 4 from the 14. Kuhn will lead block, as will Giacomini for Jackson. Oh, they read it well. Tackled by Marcus Trufant. Loss of 2. Bringing up 3rd and 6. Push her back to the 16.
No, not much there. Penetration will get you every time on those perimeter runs. Good job by Seattle's defense stringing this thing out, and they just don't get enough hats. Some of those second-level defenders.
Packers have been good on 3rd down tonight, Rich. 4 of 4.
Really good on 3rd down.
3rd down and 6.
Comes pressure.
Good block by Balaga. Incomplete. They were going for the former Arena League player, Dillon. They'll have to settle for a 3-point try.
You get a chance to really watch Brian Balaga here at the bottom of your screen. Nice job recovering back inside. Very strong at the point. And I think with any young player at that position, Kevin, the running game is kind of a natural thing for me. Really got to work at the technique in the passing game.
By the way, he was blocking Chris Clemens, a 7-year veteran. They came here in a trade with Philadelphia. Here is a 34-yard field goal try. Mason Crosby splits the uprights in Green Bay. Jumps on top again. 9:50 to play. 3 drives and 3 scores for Green Bay. Crosby punches it through. 3-time Pro Bowler Matt Hasselbeck came here in a trade and has been a wonderful story here in Seattle. Took him to a Super Bowl, and he's going to come out once again after getting this kickoff. He has led the team to 2 drives and 2 consecutive touchdowns. Green Bay has had 3 consecutive scores.
You know, it hasn't been easy for him the last couple of years, Kevin. You think about it, Mike Holmgren was the play caller 2 years ago, Greg Knapp last year, and this year Jeremy Bates. 3 different play callers in 3 years. That's very unsettling for a veteran like Matt Hasselbeck.
Cord Parks will retrieve the Crosby kick from the 8.
His own player made the tackle.
Yeah, but look at him spin. He's out of Northeastern. He was waved by St. Louis. He's waving goodbye. Lee brings him down. 39-yard line. 30-yard return. He nods in agreement. He loves the play. Let's go downstairs to Jesse Garcia.
Well, guys, we'll see Matt Hasselbeck come out here. And Mike McCarthy and Matt Hasselbeck have a history together. McCarthy was Hasselbeck's quarterbacks coach in Green Bay in 1999, and he told us one of his favorite Hasselbeck memories. In a Monday Night Football game against the Vikings, Hasselbeck was the holder on a fake field goal. When it worked, everyone dove in a celebratory pile in the end zone. But watch Hasselbeck. When he dives, he misses the pile completely and dives onto nothing. Everyone got a good laugh out of that. McCarthy still remembers it, and Guys, it was a moment in time that draws a chuckle still.
Nice story, great footage too. Charlie Pepra came in and broke up that pass to Carlson on the throw by Hasselbeck. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Raji just about sacked Hasselbeck back there for the Packer defensive line.
Yeah, you think about that play, you have to start somewhere. He started out as a holder, makes a great throw, and he goes to celebrate, and his teammates leave him high and dry. It's a pretty funny play.
2-4 front handoff Washington, and jumping on the pile there was Jenkins, gain of 2. B.J. Raji coming up. Johnny Jolly is gone for the year, suspended by the league, and Raji gets that position. Last year, remember, he was hurt and can't miss some time because of the late signing. Then he got hurt, and he got a late start to his NFL career.
Well, they also moved him around a little bit, Kevin, from the nose tackle and outside. I think this is his natural position inside. You see his girth, the ability to get inside there and take on the double teams. And now they'll move him a little bit out here, and he can also be a great rusher when they go in their nickel and sub packages.
2-4-5 defense, 3rd down and 8. Starters in there for the most part. Jarrett Bush was guarding Carlson with his 2nd drop. Bush with the coverage, 3 and out for the 2nd time, forced by the Green Bay D, and the Seahawks have to punt the ball.
And these are the throws that Matt Hasselbeck can't miss. Nice job stepping up, but boy, when you got him like this, you got to put it. Oh, that's a good throw, actually. Carlson's got to make that catch.
Sure.
Well, that's one he should catch. Talk about location, location, location. Got to put it on those tight ends.
Wilt Blackman is deep back on the punt coming up from Chris Bryan, from John Ryan, who played for the Packers
Great hang
a couple years ago. Great hang time indeed. Flag is down. Blackman dives for the catch at the 8. Oh my gosh, flags not only down where the ball was kicked, but at midfield where there was some jostling and some jousting with the coverage units of Green Bay, including Jarrett Bush. 41-yard punt as it stands right now, and a 5-second plus hang time.
That flag was thrown in the direction of Jarrett Bush and Derek Martin right around midfield. That would indicate some holding of sorts, you'd think.
Mike McCarthy told us last week he wanted to save some guys from playing on the turf as opposed to playing on grass last week in game number 1.
Well, think about the schedule this week in practice, and not only that, but the number of players that did not make this trip. I think that's really important. He's been smart about it. Left some players at home, players that have had some injuries, even a guy like Charles Woodson who's healthy but didn't want him to come out here and make this trip. 1,600 miles, an 8-hour flight. Keep those guys home back in Green Bay and get some treatment. Let these guys heal up a little bit so that you have them ready for the regular season.
Which the Packers have started to prepare for already.
There
Let's
are
get the
multiple
call.
fouls by the receiving team on the play. Holding. That penalty is declined. Personal foul number 29 of the receiving team. That player has been ejected.
Derek Martin gone, and he's a guy fighting for some time. He can't afford to miss quality snaps.
Well, not only that, but they're so beat up in the secondary right now. They need every player they can get to play tonight. That's really going to hurt Dom Capers.
So he's gone. They got him in a trade with Baltimore early last season because of some injuries in the secondary, and sure enough, he's gone now. So now they got to watch their time. There's a timeout on the field, and we will pause as well with 8:44 to play in the first half. Derek Martin back in Seattle. Derek Martin has just been ejected. 17-14 Packers on top. Rodgers was terrific for a 2nd consecutive game. Couple touchdown passes. First string offense looked good. 2nd string offense is in there right now. Bulaga remains the left tackle. College the guard. Spitz the center. Giacomini the right tackle. Flynn the quarterback, and TJ Lang is the right guard. First down and 10. And Jackson into the secondary with a nice run against the first-team defense of Seattle. Lawyer Malloy makes the stop at the 18. It's a run of 9, close to a first down.
Well, just look at the backside blocking here. Nice job. You see Brian Bulaga cut off the backside. The tight end comes down. A nice job by Brandon Jackson winding it back and getting a good positive run up inside.
Corliss and Crabtree are the 2 tight ends. Corliss out of Penn State, the rookie. He had a good block on that last play. Rich was just talking about 2nd down and 1. Jackson. Nothing there. Stood up, taken down. Hawthorne was there. Malloy was there. And also E.J. Wilson. Well, Brian Bulaga was selected 23rd overall from the University of Iowa, second-team All-America a season ago. And we told you at the top of the telecast he was the best offensive lineman voted by the media in the Big Ten a season ago for the Hawkeyes. From the state of Illinois. They're going to measure. I got into something in that last series. We couldn't get to it because we had to take a break. But we're under the understanding that they're preparing already, the Packers are, for the regular season. He's got the first down by the nose of the football. Even though we're not even halfway through the preseason, they're preparing for the regular season.
Yeah, they have to take some practice time now to get themselves ready. They've been working so much against each other, particularly their 3-4 defense. They have to get ready, for the Vikings to play a 4-man front. They also have to get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles that feature a 4-3 defense. So they spent extra time this week in practice, taking a segment, working on the Vikings defense, working on Philly's defense, at the same time keeping a couple days towards the end of the week to make sure they're prepared for Seattle tonight.
Dillon, Swain, Nelson, the 3 wide receivers. It is 1st and 10. Bulaga moved. Flynn knocked down. Hit on the play by Nick Reed, 7th-round pick last year out of Oregon. He led the NFL in preseason sacks a year ago with 4. Kind of a surprise. They lose 8 on the play. Back to the 12.
Well, it just didn't seem like he had enough time. Look, Bulaga got away with one. Looked like he steps out of there early.
I thought so too.
But boy, right up inside. You see Bruno Giacomini's really struggling, giving up that inside move to Reed.
Patrick Williams becomes one of the wide receivers. 5 of them for Matt Flynn. They need the 29.
Boy, Bruno's really struggling at that right tackle.
But Lang gave him a block and bought time for the scrambling Flynn out of LSU, where he won a national championship as a 5th-year senior. Takes it to the 20, picks up 7. It'll be 3rd and 10. Nice pocket presence by Flynn. Knew where the pressure was.
Just keep an eye on your right tackle there, Bruno Giacomini. He is struggling. You see him right here. He got beat up inside last time. This time around the edge. He's a bigger player, and you really got to get down. You got to be athletic. You got to be able to use those arms and legs against some of these quicker rushers. A guy like Aaron Curry is not as big, but is very quick off the edge.
Tight end Crabtree will be in a 2-point stance. 3rd and 10. Spitz, the center. Flynn. Swain cannot hold on. And some pretty good coverage across the way, turned in by Marcus Trufant. Most of the starters out there defensively for Seattle. This will be Green Bay's first punt tonight.
Not a whole lot you can do there if you're Matt Flynn. Very good coverage by Marcus Trufant. The defense, they got coaches too. They do a nice job. Marcus Trufant.
Chris Bryan will punt against Cleveland last week, averaged 47.3. They let him boot it. Golden Tate. Oh, and a great knockdown. Terrific special teams on the play. And coming down was Sam Shields with that 4.2 speed, blazing a trail and knocking down fellow rookie Golden Tate. 38-yard punt. Nice hang time.
Well, there's a couple different ways to make this team, but if you're a young player like Sam Shields, it's got to be by contributing on special teams, not just in the return game, but the ability to cover punts and kicks. Real nice open field tackle by Sam Shields.
A Packer is down, and I think it is a wide receiver, but I can only see part of his jersey.
Oh, that looks like Brett's.
No, is that Patrick? Let's see. Might be Patrick Williams. No, it's Swain. You're right. It is Swain. Remember, he blew the knee last year. Coming back this year, and that's one of the big ways he's going to make this team, is if he is a star on special teams.
Well, you think about their starting receivers. It's going to be Driver, Jennings, James Jones, and Jordy Nelson. That fifth receiver. See him right there. He just looks like he comes down on that right shoulder a little funny. But Brett Swain was a major contributor on special teams before that knee injury, and they need him back.
Rubio is the new nose guard. 1st down and 10. Hasselback still in there. First team offense still in there. Wide open is T.J. Hushman's on. Lee pushes him out of bounds. He's got the first down. He's to the Packer 39-yard line. Make it the 38. He picks up 21 yards on the play.
Well, this is great work for this defense. You still have Hushman's out in the game, Matt Hasselbeck. This young secondary has their work cut out for him, but this is great work to get a chance to go against a quarterback like Hasselbeck, a Pro Bowler, as well as a Pro Bowl wide receiver like T.J. Hushmanzada.
Mike Neal's the right defensive end after the gain of 21. Washington on a first down and 10. And Bishop makes the stop. It's a gain of 2 on the play to the 36.
You get a lot of opportunities tonight to see a guy like Desmond Bishop play extended time, not just in special teams, but to start the game off tonight because of the injuries. And you know, he's always made impact plays. I think consistency is the big thing with him. And talking with Mike McCarthy earlier today, he talked about matching routes and the drop angles. They asked those inside linebackers to do a lot in this defense.
Second down and 8. Washington weaving his way. Flag is thrown. Lee the tackle. And a gain of about 8 on the play. They've got Neal, Pickett, and Toribio on that defensive line.
Number 32, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Quentin Ganther. Swain just had the wind knocked out of him. Francois is taking the place of A.J. Hawk at that inside backer tonight. A.J., you know, twisted an ankle earlier this week in camp. They tried him before the game on the field. And Francois getting the start. Sacre bleu from the 46. Second down and 18.
Screen
to Washington. Read well by Chiller. Had that big contract signing in December. Brandon Chiller, a one-time starter with the Rams. Gain of 6 on the play. Third down. 12 coming up from the 40.
Well, Brandon Chiller is a very impressive player. I mean, he gives you great flexibility in this defense, the ability to run, play the run so well, but just his athleticism. I think, you know, his ability to rush the passer, and the play, and the drop in the coverage zones.
One defensive lineman. 1, Neal. 4 defensive backs, 6 in the secondary. Flag, Hasselbeck. Tackle made by Burnett. Pass was to Carlson, the tight end. 7-yard gain. 33-yard line as it stands right now.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Another penalty.
Correction, penalties declined. Fourth down.
.410 to play here in the second quarter. And they're going to go for it. Chiller, who was so terrific in coverage at the inside backer a season ago, has been moved to the right outside linebacker. Clay Matthews, who has a hamstring, was moved to left outside. And Brad Jones, who started in place of the injured Aaron Campbell, is moved now to the right outside. We haven't seen Jones tonight.
No, he's not going to play. He's out with his shoulder. Yep. But the good thing is I think guys like Brad Jones and Brandon Chiller, they're going to play. And they're going to play in different situations. And one of the things, you look at a guy like Brandon Chiller, his ability to rush the passer. You know, to line him up here outside and let him go against these big tackles in space.
Seattle.
Packers are going to be in a 1-4-6
timeout.
defense, with Neal as the only guy down. You hungry?
Very.
You're always hungry. Well, eat like the Packers at Curly's Pub with selections from the team dining room menu. Eat what the players are eating. Curly's is open 11 a.m. daily in the Lambeau Field atrium.
Now, you've eaten there. Do they have cheese curds at Curly's?
What kind of question is that? what?
Ross, our producer, told me to ask you that question. I'm going to blame it on him. Of course they do, right?
If your mom told you to jump on, no, of course they got them there.
That's a great place. In fact, we didn't have our annual luncheon there this summer, did we not?
We did not. It's another free meal that you and I missed on.
I know it.
But we've got one more game to do. Colts are coming to Green Bay this week. And then Rich and I will wind up with the preseason schedule in Kansas City. It is now 3rd and 22. They need the 28. Handoff goes to Forsett. Gets by Obiazu. And the gain to the 41. We're bringing them down with Jared Bush on a gain of 9. Now they will punt. And Jordy Nelson will be back there. You know, the return game has been kind of interesting for this Packer team. It is a wide open race, and they put a lot of guys in there. Last week, Shields retrieving punts. Tonight, we're going to get a look at Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, we saw Shields. We saw Porter last week. Tonight, we get a chance to see Will Blackman as well as Jordy Nelson. And I think it'll be Will Blackman and Jordy Nelson.
Another penalty.
Throughout the course of the season.
Second charge timeout. Green Bay. A 30-second timeout.
Timeout taken by the Packers, as you just heard. Sean Slocum.
Well, he can't be happy. Listen.
You know, the problem with special teams in preseason, your regular guys are being shuffled on either offense or defense, and so that leaves a guy like Sean Slocum with what's left, and sometimes what is left is not what he's been practicing with.
And a lot of times he doesn't find out until you see right here at the top of your screen the substitution. And a lot of times he doesn't find out until a couple hours before the game who's even going to be available. So it's not an easy job. It's a thankless job to be a special teams coach. But remember, one of the areas that Mike McCarthy told us that need to get better at, Kevin, is the penalties in special teams. We saw some a week ago against Cleveland, again here tonight. Communication, the penalties have been a problem for the Packers in the kicking game.
Am I right? Didn't you play some special teams as a rookie with New England? Maybe I'm wrong.
With Minnesota, I did.
Oh, Minnesota, with the Vikings you did.
I did.
Low snap. Picked up by John Ryan. Jordy will let it bounce. And oh my goodness. How about that placement? The knuckleball works. And it was downed on the play by Jordan Babineau on a 40-yard, well-placed punt by the former Packer punter John Ryan out of Saskatchewan. That's tough. Now the Packers marooned at their 1. And the offensive line stays intact with Spitz, the center, College, the left guard, Balaga at the left tackle, Lang and Giacomini right side of that line. Flynn, the quarterback, Jackson in the backfield with Kuhn. Couple tight ends, 1st and 10 for Flynn. Jackson. Crabtree with the block, and you see the result. Not much there, a meager gain of a yard.
As a quarterback, all you're thinking about is just trying to get some breathing room here, a first down. The other thing, there's always a good place on the field, Kevin, for a hard count. You don't have a lot to lose. Pick up 5 easy yards. The problem with the hard count in this environment, backed up in your own end zone on the road, is it's difficult for your own team to hear the hard count.
Crabtree and Corliss are the 2 tight ends. 2nd and 9. Flynn, Nelson.
Nice.
And he's got the first down, dancing on the side with Josh Wilson. It's an 11-yard pickup. Nice throw by Flynn, who looks much sharper tonight than he did last week.
He does. The ball is coming out. Nice, good, accurate throws. And I like receivers, Kevin, like Jordy Nelson. He's a big target on the outside lane like that. Big, long arms, long legs. Catches the ball real well away from his body, and he can post up some of those smaller corners.
Yep, weighs over 200 pounds. Nice mismatch. Rodgers has a couple touchdown passes tonight. His Packers up by 3 at the 2-minute warning. Packers estimated about 5,000 Packer fans here. They travel as well as any team in the league. In fact, Pittsburgh and Packer fans probably the 2 best in the entire NFL. And the entire NFL thinks a lot of Green Bay for this upcoming season.
Yeah, I picked the Packers last year. I'm not going to pick them this year because I felt like I jinxed them last year. So I'm going to let these guys predict that the Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl. I really like this football team, Kevin. 11-5 last year. I think they played some of their best football in the second half of the season. And I think they've gotten better this offseason. I really do. And the continued development of Aaron Rodgers, he has looked spectacular so far this preseason.
Flynn taking his place. 3 of 5, 51 yards. The drive started with the 1. It's a 1st and 10 right now. We're at the 2-minute warning. Nelson is on the move. Jackson in the backfield. Number 1 defense still in there for Seattle. Jackson will crawl through. And then from behind, Will Herring, who's a starter, he's out of Auburn, makes the stop after a gain of 4. And they put him at the 18-yard line. Nice run by Jackson. The running game showing perhaps a little bit more of a form tonight compared to last week.
Well, it's always got to be a point of emphasis. And I think that to set the tone, you have to be able to run the football in this league. And didn't see a whole lot of Ryan Grant, but plenty of opportunities for Brandon Jackson.
Lumpkin, by the way, injured, not playing tonight. Swain is in there. Dillon, Nelson, the 3 wideouts. Flynn changing the play. 2nd down and 6. Jackson bouncing, darting. First down run. They have a hard time bringing him down. Jordan Babineau rides him down. 14-yard run and a first down for Green Bay.
Just the 1 timeout left. They got to do a good job getting up there at the line of scrimmage and getting one called quick here.
Giacomini with a nice block at right tackle. 1st and 10. Flynn sticks hard in that pocket. Jackson, who has authored this drive, out to about the 40-yard line, close to a first down. Herring makes the stop, gain of about 9. Somebody lost their hat. Good news is the head was not in the hat. Packers have just burned their last timeout. Tell me what you think of Jackson. He was a high pick. He left Nebraska early. He is a 3rd down back. He is as versatile, I think, I'll make the opening statement, as anybody on this roster.
Well, you think of him as a 3rd down back, but Mike's made the comment this week that he's an every down back, and I think you watch the way he runs tonight. He is just got more and more comfortable in this system, and I think that we use that term, flexibility. I think the ability for him to go in there in the 3rd down situation, short yardage and goal line, he does it all. He's gotten much better in terms of protecting the passer, his ability to sit in there and decipher where those pressures are coming from and hold up and block some of those linebackers and safeties.
Corliss, the tight end, after the gain of 9, 2nd down and 1. No timeouts for Green Bay. Giacomini with another good block at the right tackle. Oh, Nelson could not get that pass. Coverage deep by Walter Thurman.
Illegal hands to the face.
Oh, there's penalty flag.
Number 91 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Starter Chris Clemens.
Well, it's twice now for Seattle defensively. Well, you just got to be smart, understanding situational football. Just watch right here.
Balaga.
Right there. You
Nice
can't
call.
do that.
Yep, nice call. And
you got to let go.
oh, and held on. Yeah.
It doesn't let go.
4th defensive penalty for the Seahawks. It is a first down for Green Bay with no timeouts at their own 45. Second team offenses look better tonight than last week.
Yeah, the offensive line doing a nice job up front.
Flynn, good block by Jackson. Oh,
nice
wow.
catch.
He just threw in a very small window. Corliss, the all-time tight end receiver in the history of Penn State football, makes the grab, gain of 10, 45-yard line. And Flynn again continues to be razor sharp. Gain of 10, it is a first down. They'll move the chains. Stopping the clock, the spike, it'll be 2nd down and 10. Last week I threw this out at you, and there was a story in the packet that said that personnel guys said that of all the backup quarterbacks in the NFL, they ranked Flynn about as high as any single backup in the NFL. Then he had last week, and he was so-so. Now tonight he's playing like the personnel guys around the league think he looks.
I think the other thing is you need to keep in mind he's playing with some younger players. Different offensive lines, some of 2nd, 3rd receivers. And
good point.
when he has played with that first unit in training camp, he has looked very sharp.
Kuhn back there, 2nd and 10. Giacomini with another block. Swain has got room to roam. Wisely slacks out of bounds. Angling to the 32. It is a catch and run for Green Bay at 13 by Swain. Stopping the clock, moving the chains, first down.
And this is where Matt Flynn has looked better tonight, Kevin. He's been much more accurate. His location on his throws. And the other thing that's been impressive, just the way he's been able to orchestrate this 2-minute drill. It looks like he's in complete control of things.
Remember, Swain came off that blown knee a year ago, so him coming back is a great story. It is 1st and 10. Drive started, remember, at the 1-yard line. Flynn again. Nelson out of Kansas State, where he was an All-America.
Now you got to hurry up and clock it. Nope. They have time. A little communication issue on the boundary. They have plenty of time to clock it.
Gain of 9, so it's 2nd and 1.
Wow.
Spikes it there. Flag is thrown. Was somebody moving? Somebody was moving.
Illegal.
Yep.
That's it. If it's on Green Bay, that's the end of the half.
Sure is.
And that's a mistake. They had plenty of time. Communication, they didn't get it done.
Illegal snap
Should
on
never
the center.
have happened.
That penalty, second runoff.
They panicked.
That's the end of the half.
Mike not happy with that. That shouldn't happen with a veteran football team.
So we're at halftime. The Packers squander what was a good-looking drive by the second-team offense against Seattle's first-team defense. Rodgers has thrown 2 touchdown passes tonight. And Giacomini looks like he moved a little bit early at that right tackle after he'd had a very good series providing time.
No reason to move, just sit in there.
We're at halftime. Jesse will take you through our halftime here in Seattle, where the Packers lead it 17-14 over the Seahawks on the Packer Television Network. Kowski would have liked that song, probably does. There's a look at Packer fans sprinkled throughout Quest Field here in Seattle with Rich Gannon and Kevin Harlan. Boy, Aaron Rodgers was terrific. The first team offense through 2 games is right on the money.
Yeah, they really look sharp. I mean, the way he's throwing the ball, really both quarterbacks tonight, Kevin. You look at the statistics in the first half, I think both quarterbacks throwing the ball well. I think that second offensive line has done a much better job for Matt Flynn tonight as well.
You want to see some stats?
I'd love to see some stats.
Let's go to the stats. As you take a look at Matt Flynn, who was
look at the
much
passing
more
yards.
on time with his passes tonight than he was last week.
Well, you give these quarterbacks some time and they'll hurt you. And I think both Aaron Rodgers and Matt Flynn have looked good tonight. And, Mike McCarthy's done a nice job. He's moved these quarterbacks. He's got them out on the edge a little bit. They've mixed in the run. And big thing, though, is the special teams. That still bothers me a little bit, that bobble right before the half there. That shouldn't happen with this football team. Not a communication breakdown, as Mike talked about, coming out at halftime with Jesse Garcia. And they got to get that worked out because special teams were a problem last year. They've been a problem so far this preseason.
Jordy Nelson is deep back for Green Bay. Kickoff return job, the punt return job certainly has some vacancy on it. So we'll see if through the course of the second half tonight against the Colts later this week and in Kansas City to finish out the preseason, if the Packers can figure out the right combination in the return game and in their coverage units. And here we go as we start the second half. This is Nelson inside the 5. Makes a miss, has some room, and there they go. The kicker trips him up. Stitzer. He was signed August 17th. He brings down Nelson. 36-yard return and a beauty. And they'll put the ball at, let's see, about the 39-yard line. At the 40.
See Matt Flynn there, 7-10 in the first half. I thought he looked sharp. Again, now the big thing is you got new receivers in there, a different back. Quinn Porter in the game now. Make sure these guys know what they're doing before they leave the huddle.
First-round pick Balaga now playing the left guard. Jackson is out, and this is Quinn Porter who is in. 1st and 10, and the gain to about the 43 in the middle of that pile brings him down. He went to a small school in Tuscaloosa, Alabama called Stillman College.
And I thought he ran well last week, Kevin, when he got some opportunities late in the game. And see right there on his very first carry, almost gets his helmet knocked off. And make sure he gets enough air in that helmet. So he's asking for some air.
Who doesn't want air?
That should have been taken care of before the game, don't you think? Make sure you have enough air in the helmet.
2nd down and 7. Kuhn in the backfield. Giacomini with the block at the right tackle. That's picked off. It was going for Swain. Make it Dillon. And Dillon made the tackle. On the deflection, the first Green Bay turnover. First turnover by either team tonight.
I thought this was a good throw. Actually, it hits him on the back shoulder.
Interception was made by Tywan Hagler. If that name rings a bell, many years with the Indianapolis Colts, including their Super Bowl season. 5 seasons in Indy. Flynn on the deflection, turns it over. Charlie Whitehurst is the new quarterback. First time, 1st and 10. Julius Jones with the block. He's the running back, and that's out of bounds. Whitehurst, that name sound familiar? His dad, David Whitehurst, was the Green Bay Packer quarterback, late 70s, early 80s, selected in the 8th round, started 37 games over 7 seasons, including every game in 78. One of his most famous games was a Monday night game, highest scoring game even to this day. Over the Redskins, 48-47. Whitey was right there. And the run for Seattle. Julius Jones out of Notre Dame, the former Dallas Cowboy, and brought down on the play by Mike Neal, the draft choice out of Purdue. Loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd and 11. And Sambo is there to make the stop out of Central Michigan.
Well, the Seahawks raised some eyebrows around the league when they made that move, giving up the 2nd-round pick for Whitehurst. But, you know, Kevin, he's been in the league 5 years. He was trained by Norv Turner down there in San Diego. He looked really sharp last week, threw for 214 yards and a pair of touchdowns in the win over Tennessee. And I thought it was a good move by Seattle.
1-4-6 defense for Green Bay. Whitehurst on the run. He's got to get to the 39. Havener gets him from behind, trips him up. They did not get the first down. To the 43. Scramble of 7.
That's what it gives you that Matt Hasselbeck can't do anymore, or won't do anymore. You know, when it's not there, the ability to pull the ball down and make some plays with your legs, and this can be very frustrating for a defense. It's a nice job at the end here. Watch him protect himself. Don't want to take hits from those corners and safeties. They're trained assassins. They'll knock you out.
Oh, I know they will. Shorty Nelson is back. Retrieving the punt from John Ryan. And the low snap by Clint Gresham, who's the long snapper. Nelson wisely lets it go, but it's going to be inside the 5 again, and for the 2nd time tonight, if they can down it, and they do. Ryan, the ex-Green Bay punter.
How ironic is that?
41 yards.
The Packers are looking for a punter. John Ryan, a former punter with the Packers, has had a great night so far.
Graham Harrell out of Texas Tech, the record-setting quarterback for the Red Raiders. Played in the Canadian Football League. Cleveland off-season program, now a Packer. We'll probably see him later on. Flynn again beginning inside his 5 for a 2nd consecutive time. 1st and 10. Quinn Porter is back there as a running back, and this goes to the other Quinn. This is Quinn Johnson, the big lumbering fullback out of LSU. Pushes the pile to the 15, picks up 12, has the first down. We only know him as a kind of a bulldozing lead blocker. He's doing some things right here.
Oh, nice job here. Little check down, and watch him turn upfield. Now here's where he hurts you. 265 pounds.
See, he's fighting for a job with Hall and Kuhn and him. He'd be the 3rd fullback, but maybe they're only going to keep 2 fullbacks this year. Havener could play fullback if he had to, so Quinn Johnson's got to show. 1st and 10 from the 15. Quinn Porter. Yeah, it looked like another Quinn. We had 3 Quinns on that. Quinn Johnson, the lead block. Quinn Porter, the carry. Quinn Pittock out of Ohio State with the tackle. It was a gain of 3 to be 2nd down and 7 to go.
And Quinn Johnson, I think, you know, you talk about that battle, Kevin, with the fullback position. You know, Corey Hall and John Kuhn, and both of those players are major contributors on special teams, and that's going to hurt Quinn Johnson a little bit when it comes down to making a decision on the final 53.
It's 2nd down and 7. Porter. Corliss trying to give a block. Nothing there. Wilson with the hit. Lewis jumping in there. McCoy getting tackled and a gain of 1 on the play. Barber's now playing the left tackle. We told you before that they got Balaga playing the left guard. Evan Dietrich Smith is playing the center, with Lang the right guard, Giacomini playing the right tackle. Williams a receiver with Swain in the slot at the top of your screen. Dillon wide to the near side. 3rd down and 6. Kuhn in the backfield. Got to get to the 25. Flynn looking for a block. Nice tackle, nice pursuit on the play. Gain of 3. Taiwan Hagler was there to make the stop. Packers have got a punt for his 2nd time in the game.
Well, he's doing the best he can, trying to buy as much time, but at the same time keeping an eye on where those sticks are. Just a good open field tackle by Hagler.
So the punter now for Green Bay will be Mastay. Chris Bryan punted the first time. Mastay here, Forsett deep back to retrieve the punt.
That's good hang time as well.
He was in the Colts camp a year ago. Fair caught, 35, and we got flags. Over 5 on the hang time there, 43 seconds, 43 yards on the kick as it stands now in a penalty-filled game here in Seattle. That's it. Sorry, Bigby. We were talking about defensive reshuffling. Bigby is out to think he might be out longer than expected as they were cleaning out previous ankle surgery. Some scar tissue. Al Harris is coming back to the blown knee. Woodson not here tonight. He's not hurt. He just didn't make the trip. So there's a lot of turbulence right now in the Packers secondary.
There are 2 fouls by the kicking team on the play. Correction. There is no foul for illegal block in the back. There is a foul, ineligible downfield, number 51 of the kicking team. That penalty will be enforced from the end of the play.
Papinga.
5 yards on first down. Timeout.
Rodgers with 2 touchdown passes. And the Packers holding on to a 3-point lead. Under 10 to play here in the third from Seattle. Packer receivers huddling on the side and plotting their next possession. Packers just punted, 40-yard line. Seattle will have it 1st and 10. Another look at Charlie Whitehurst, son of former Packer quarterback David Whitehurst. Originally a 3rd-round pick by San Diego. Rich told you about the trade with the Chargers, and Charlie was born in Green Bay. While his dad David was quarterback in the Pack. 1st and 10 from the 40. Hasselbeck threw a touchdown pass. They got a touchdown run. Those are Seattle's 2 scores. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th teamers in there right now. This is a 1st and 10 throw, and they go outside with a nice catch and run. And they go to their fullback who makes that grab right there, Owen Schmidt. 13-yard pickup. 1st down to the Green Bay 47. Downstairs to Jesse Garcia.
Thanks, guys. And I have a guest, Packers right tackle Mark Tauscher. And Mark, first-team offense has really been clicking. Can you talk about your opinion of the way the preseason performance has gone?
You know what? I think we're just trying to get into a good tempo. And obviously, last week our first play didn't go well, but with that exception, we've been getting in good rhythm. And Aaron's on fire, and we just need to give him some time. And if we do that, he's gonna make a lot of plays.
Sure. Mark, a year ago at this time, you were injured. Was there a point during that time when you wondered whether it would all work out and you'd wind up back with the Packers and right here a year later?
You know what? You never know. It's when I got injured, I just said I'm going to put myself in a position to get back and play, and that's all I could do. Everything else was kind of out of my control, and obviously I'm happy things have worked out for me personally as they have.
Mark, I wanted to ask you, as a wily old veteran, talk a little bit about Brian Bulaga and what he's going through at both guard and tackle. How difficult is it to play both?
You know what the thing with Brian is usually when you have a first-round pick, they come in maybe with a little bit of a different disposition. He's got a great offensive lineman's disposition. He's very confident, but in the same respect, he works hard, and he's going to be a really good player here for a long time.
Mark, one last thing. Not many kids get to live out their childhood dream and play for their favorite team. After all these years, you are a Wisconsin native. Is it still cool to be playing for the Packers?
No question. I mean, it's when you grow up here, you're a fan of the Packers, and now for 11 years now, I've been very fortunate to get out here and play, and it's been a good ride.
Packers right tackle Mark Tauscher, thanks so much for joining us. Guys, back upstairs.
Julius Jones, Jesse on 2nd and 13. Brought down after Zombo just had a sack. Wrapping up Tauscher, born in Marshfield. His dad is a reporter for the Marshfield News Herald and covers Packers home game. And of course, he was a 7th-round pick, was Tauscher, out of Wisconsin. Walk-on at the UW, 1-year starter for the Badgers. He's had the 2 reconstructed knee operations, and one of the sharpest guys off the field, as well as one of the most needed guys on the field for this organization. He's carved a wonderful career, and you know what? His career after football, I think, is going to be just as successful.
When you think about how that offensive line struggled the first half of the season without Mark Tauscher and how well they played when he was able to come back.
Blitz was on that 3rd and 7. They were bringing the linebackers.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, a healthy Mark Tauscher and Chad Clifton made a big difference in the second half of the season when they went 7-1. And that's really the key, to start the season. 4-4 wasn't good enough a year ago, and the inconsistent play up front. That's why it's really good to see this offensive line get off to such a good start here in the preseason. I think they're much more settled up front.
Oh, yeah. An offensive line for Green Bay. It's 9 slots, 6 already taken, 3 left, so 6 guys battling for 3 slots if they do keep the 9 offensive linemen overall. 3rd and 12. Whitehurst. That's caught. Did he get the first down? The hit was by Shields. The catch across the way was made by Cameron Mora, who's out of Cal in a 7th-round pick last year. Picks up 12 on 3rd and 12. He's got the first down.
Boy, Whitehurst has looked sharp. I think he's throwing the ball really well. And, you think about it, they knew they weren't going to get Sam Bradford. They needed a quarterback, and yet they really felt like a guy like Charlie Whitehurst could come in and he'd be much further along than some of these quarterbacks that were taken after Bradford. Guys like Colt McCoy and Jimmy Clausen, Tim Tebow.
Harold Toribio along with Neal on the defensive line. 1st and 10 for Whitehurst. Outside it goes. Schmidt, the fullback, gets it. Zombo right there to make the stop on a gain of a yard to the 18. I'm sorry, cut you off, but finish off your thought.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really good move. A lot of people were surprised. Charlie Whitehurst really hasn't had the chance to play in San Diego behind Phillip Rivers, but
hadn't taken a snap in the regular season.
But they watched all these preseason games. John Schneider liked him coming out of Clemson. He had the size, the arm strength. And the other thing is he's had the good fortune of being around Norv Turner for the last 4 or 5 years and learning and developing in that system.
Whitehurst swings it outside. This one's caught by Dion Butler out of Penn State, 3rd-round pick a year ago. Pat Lee was there covering for Green Bay. 16-yard line is where the gain went. And they go for a gain of 3.
Talk about creating competition at every spot on the roster. And I think, if you're Matt Hasselbeck, you know that you have to go out and perform and play at a high level. If not, they're going to make a change. If they don't get off to a good start here in Seattle, you're going to see a lot of Charlie Whitehurst early.
5 defensive backs, 2 down linemen. 3rd and 6. Blitz was on by linebackers. Julius Jones dancing, jumping, driving. He's got the first down. The former Cowboy, who has led Seattle in rushing the last 2 years, skips and hops his way for 10 and gives the Seahawks a 1st and goal.
Well, Will Blackman, a little rusty, does a nice job deciphering the screen. You see him come up. Now he just misses the tackle in the open field. You got to make this play on 3rd down.
It's 1st and goal from the 6. Jones dives down to about the 3.
We're anxious to see where Will Blackman is physically, Kevin. And, it's so hard for a player that's played the position not to get reps. But not only that, a guy like Will Blackman is going from corner to safety now.
Hard.
And he hasn't had the luxury of getting any of those reps in training camp. So these next couple weeks, very important for Will Blackman.
Harrell and Neal are on the defensive line. It's 2nd down and goal. Fake to Jones. Whitehurst. Albamanu. Touchdown. 3-yard touchdown pass by Charlie Whitehurst. And Albamanu is the guy that during our interview with Tauscher had a 17-yard end around. A 3-yard touchdown reception there. Seahawks back on top.
Little misdirection, just making this look too easy. See a number of players in that secondary out of position with their eyes in the backfield.
Stitzer with the extra point. Seahawks by 4, biggest lead tonight. Obamanu did it on the ground and caught one on the pass from Whitehurst, who was 6 of 6 on that drive. It's a Driver fan, though. We're looking at they're all 3 of them, mom, dad, and son. Obamanu with a nice series there, the end around we talked about. Good fake to get open on an easy 3-yard touchdown toss by Charlie Whitehurst. Good looking drive. Stitzer will kick off. And Shields is back there. Bobbled a couple last week. Let's see how he retrieves this one. 4.2 speed, undrafted out of Miami. Former receiver converted to a defensive back, and he runs into his own blocking, and down he goes. And look at Brady Papinga. He's out there playing special teams. 26-yard return. 4:10 to play in the 3rd. Packers trailing 21-17. Eat that French fry. He'll grow big and strong like Aaron Rodgers someday. Barber, Balaga, Dietrich Smith from left to right to the center, and then they got Giacomini at the right tackle still and Lang at the right guard. That's the offensive line. Patrick Williams remains one of the wide receivers. Porter's in the backfield. Oh, is it raining? It is. It has started to rain here in Seattle.
That's why Aaron has his hat on.
Yeah. Crabtree, the tight end, is in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Matt Flynn. Quinn Porter. Into the teeth, and someone else lost the helmet. That's a gain of about 3. It was Porter who lost it. He's protecting his head. I don't blame him. We saw it happen to Eli Manning when he lost his helmet. Big gash, 11 stitches. Let's go downstairs to Jesse.
All right, guys, thanks. It's starting to rain a little bit, but I am here with Packers running back Ryan Grant, who is coming off career highs in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and receiving yards last year. But Ryan, I want to start off asking you about the concussion because you were knocked out of last week's game with that. How are you feeling?
Feel good. I went out there, took the first 2 groups. The first 2 series with the team. First team felt good. Had a couple runs that I wanted to kind of lower my head, lower those pads a little bit and bang a little bit, as opposed to just kind of being more elusive, just kind of see banging wise how I feel. And I felt good, felt fine. Blocking, running the ball, getting hit, getting tackled. Felt good. That's the biggest thing, and now just move forward.
Good. You are coming off back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons. You're only the 3rd running back in Packers history to do that. So what do you think? Can you make it another one this year?
Well, that's the plan. We got to do more. Evidently, that wasn't enough. We didn't get it done, so I've got some pretty good goals. Increase a lot of different things from last year. Be more involved, be more of all down, every down back. And really just help the team win, help that offense, and we feel like we can do even more as an offense. Even though we did put up some good numbers, but we feel like we can, kind of take it to that next level.
Boy, the offense is really looking explosive so far in the preseason too.
Yeah, we're getting in the stride. Of course, we want to hit that and start early. We feel like we need to start really early this season with the schedule that we have. And with these preseason games, this is a perfect opportunity. We don't know how much we're going to play, but we feel like when we're in there, let's be efficient, smart, and take care of business.
I don't know how many people know this, but since week 8 of 2007, you have rushed for the 2nd most yards in the entire NFL. But you're very humble about it. You don't brag about it. It's just one of those things that you just go out and do.
I just go to work. That's the type of person I am. I'm going to continue to try to take care of business. Just keep getting better. We can always improve. That's a good number. But I think I'm trying to just keep getting better with it. So if I can be number 1, that's the goal.
We wish you a lot of luck this season. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Packers running back Ryan Grant. Kevin?
3rd down and 8. It's a pass completion. Flynn to Dillon. Pickup of 12 on the play. He's a year out of Washington State. He spent last year in the AFL, the Arena Football League with Spokane.
Where Matt Ryan looks.
Flynn got whacked.
Yeah, you see Flynn there. Kevin, he just looks comfortable to me tonight.
1st and 10. Quinn Johnson, Quinn Porter in the backfield. Porter around Johnson's block. To the 42, just finishing up on Grant. He's from the state of New Jersey. He was the New Jersey High School Player of the Year. He went to Notre Dame. And not only did he play football, where he finishes the 12th all-time leading rusher for the Irish, but he was on the track team there for a while as well. Taken by the Giants. He's a free agent, was injured on the practice squad. Packers, traded for him, and the rest is history, as Jesse just illustrated. And what a great story and a terrific find by GM Ted Thompson.
And he does it all. He runs, he catches the ball, he blocks. He's a very unselfish player in this system.
That's a catch by Patrick Williams. Williams was a track All-America in high school in the state of Texas. He picks up 14 on the quick slant. Flynn has been exceptional tonight throwing for Green Bay. The gain puts him at the 44.
Strong side run call, but they have the option on the backside. If the coverage is soft, they feel like they're overloaded strong to kick that ball to the slant route. Real nice sight adjustment by Matt Flynn.
Here is 10 of 15, as you see, with the pick and 130 yards. That interception was a deflected pass. Porter. Johnson with the lead. Balaga trying to get in there and knock some people astray. To the 39-yard line. Another helmet has been knocked off. Gain of 5 as it stands right now.
Some of these young players need to realize there's
Snap that baby
how
on.
to snap it on. Not only that, but put extra air in it. You know what happens is during the course of practice during the week, a lot of the players take some of the air out. And they forget to put the air back in on game days. And that's not something that usually the veteran guys forget to do, because it's easy to get a concussion when you don't have enough air in your helmet.
Pete Carroll ran almost to the numbers to signal a timeout.
Seattle.
They had issues who was on the field defensively. So one-time head coach of the Patriots and the Jets will call a time, and 1:11 to play here in the third with his Seahawks on top. The raining here in Seattle, as you see the covering on some Seahawk fans. This drive for the Packers began back at the 25. Now they're at the 40-yard line. A 14-yard pass to Williams, a 12-yard pass to Dillon. Second down and 5 after the Seattle timeout. Flynn. Giacomini with more time with his blocking at the right tackle. That is dropped by Quinn Johnson. The coverage by Tywan Hagler. Earlier, Quinn Johnson had a reception for 12 yards and looked good doing it.
You got to look it in. That's the big thing. You know, you can't start running before you actually catch the ball. And nice job.
Line looks better tonight, doesn't it? Both first and second team.
They do. You just go back and look at that catch by, or the drop by Quinn. And the big thing is confident receivers catch the ball with their hands, not their bodies. You can't let that ball get into those shoulder pads.
Kuhn is back there with Flynn, third down and 5. Dillon is on the move. Justin West is the extra receiver. Oh, they got around Barber. The ball is loose. There's a fumble on the play. Dexter Davis, the rookie out of Arizona State, says he's got it. The officials agree. The drive is stopped. The Packers have turned it over for a second time tonight. Now unraveling the pile. They got around Barber at the left tackle.
They just see it right here. Hold on. Trying to get help inside from the guard, Balaga. Barber gets beat on the edge. Matt Flynn needs to step up and, more importantly, take care of the football. Real nice job there by Dexter Davis at the end, getting that right hand in there and stripping it.
Blackman, Pepra, Bush, Shields, along with DJ Clark are the defensive backs for Green Bay. Charlie Whitehurst on the Green Bay 46 with the 1st and 10. Julius Jones in the backfield. He's a first-team running back. Zombo was right there to make the stop. Gain of 5 in the play. Obiazer, Cyril Obiazer was there too. A couple linebackers. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5, and they're going to spot him at the 41.
I mean, you mentioned the Seattle running back situation. You know, Julius Jones, a starter. Justin Forsett.
Brett Favre does that, doesn't he? Whitehurst just did. Fake motion.
A lot of these young quarterbacks try to do what Brett Favre did. You do enough of it, you play for 20 years.
Obiazer makes the stop there on that 2nd down and 5, and Julius Jones to the 40-yard line on a gain of 1. He played at Notre Dame. As you take a look at Matt Flynn, who had to sit in back of a couple different quarterbacks down at LSU, including Jamarcus Russell. And then when it was his time, he let him do a
Could you imagine this guy playing behind Jamarcus Russell?
I cannot. Well,
Can't imagine anybody playing behind Jamarcus Russell.
at the end of the day, Flynn has had things go his way. It goes around, comes around. 21-17 Seattle at the end of 3 on the Green Bay Packer Television Network. Now the Packers brought in 3 new members to their Hall of Fame, including guard Greg Cook. He played 11 years in the NFL, 9 with the Pack from 77 to 85. The team's 2nd-round pick out of the University of Arkansas, 2nd-team All-Pro back in 82. When David Whitehurst was the quarterback for Green Bay. Now his son Charlie is quarterbacking this Seattle team.
I had the good fortune of playing with Greg Cook 1 year in Minnesota. He came to Minnesota in 1987.
He's now a trial lawyer in the state of Texas. 3rd down and 4. Harrell stays in on the defensive line, along with the rookie Neal out of Purdue. Nice looking catch by Tion Butler. Oh, and he makes a miss. He gets a block from Obiano, and down he goes to the 18-yard line. Swiveling his way for 21 yards. And that's a 1st down to the Green Bay 19.
Boy, they've really been attacking the middle of the field here tonight. Well, just a great catch. Not bad coverage underneath. You see Shields, he's
he's in position, but the perfect throw and a catch get it done there. Well, you'd love to see this from the quarterback. Run all the way downfield, help the receiver up. He's having fun tonight.
He's the future of this team. 1st and 10. High snap. Jones drops it. May have heard footsteps. Sam Shields.
They're trying to run a quick screen there. They put Julius Jones outside, trying to get him the ball quickly and get that offensive line out in front. We've seen it a couple times tonight. These backs trying to run before they make the catch. Getting a little antsy.
2nd down and 10 from the Green Bay 19. Rain has, I think, just gone to a drizzle right now. Barely fall. 5 in the Packers secondary. Jones drilled. The hit by Francois. Bobby Francois, who's played a lot of snaps tonight. A.J. Hawk hurting the ankle. There's a gain on the play of a couple yards. Francois.
Kevin, I'm anxious to see this guy right here, Justin Harrell, how he plays tonight. Talked about the importance of getting a look at some of these players that have been hurt. He was on injury reserve last year with a back. He tweaked his back earlier this week in practice, and he just needs reps. He needs time in the system, and he just can't afford any more injuries to keep him out.
3rd and 8.
Here he is right here.
Good call, Rich. Whitehurst wisely throws it away.
I think with Johnny Jolly's situation, you need some depth and playmakers along that defensive line. Justin Harrell, he can stay healthy. I think he can be a major contributor this year. Mike has said when he's healthy, he really shows some flashes. But the injuries have been a real problem for Justin Harrell.
This will be a 35-yard field goal try by Clint Stitzer out of Fresno State. Olindo Mate is the normal kicker, but this is just a camp kicker. This is Stitzer who's kicking this, and he nails it from 35. Points off turnovers for Seattle. They cash in. Stitzer bangs it in. And the Seahawks extend their lead over Green Bay now to 7. 13-21 in the 4th. About 63 degrees. Rain now is completely stopped here in downtown Seattle. There's something like that. You don't care if it's raining or if it's sunny. Moments ago, after the Packers fumbled a 35-yard field goal by Stitzer, now the kickoff will come to that guy, Sam Shields, 3 years a wide receiver at Miami, converted to a defensive back. His senior season, questionable hands coming out of Miami, questionable hands in training camp so far.
There it is. That'll kill you.
Folks,
that started very early on in the kick, Kevin. You got to recognize a short kick, and you got to come hauling up and charge it. I think the big thing there with Sam Shields was his inability to recognize the short kick, indecisive. And then to let it hit the ground and not get on the ball, trying to pick it up. Just watch right here. Now watch him take a peek. You just can't do that. Boy, he has really struggled this preseason, and I think more than anything right now, it's confidence.
Kennard Cox is the one who fell on the loose ball. Packers have turned it over 3 times here in the second half, and Seattle now has it 1st and goal at the 9. Special teams continue to be the #1 issue with this Packer team. Whitehurst remains. Ganther is the running back. Ganther gets the call. And on 1st and 10, Obiazer jumps on him. Last week against Cleveland, he struggled.
Yeah, he really did. And you know all week in practice he has worked on fielding punts and kicks, and then he gets an opportunity again tonight. Even an interception here that he bobbles. I think right now the big thing with him, he's very raw. He's got all the speed and the athleticism, the toughness, but boy, right now just the confidence is not there.
2nd down and goal. Harrell remains on the defensive line. Good fake by Whitehurst to the end zone, and incomplete. They were looking that time for Cameron Moore. And back to cover for the Packers, they had Will Blackman.
Nice job by Will Blackman. You see him sitting right inside there. You know, Will's making the transition from corner to safety, so some new learning going on for him, new angles, and it's different back there in the middle. But he's still a very aggressive player, and if he can stay healthy, now all of a sudden you got a guy like Will Blackman that can not only play corner but safety as well.
3rd and goal, Jarius win on that defensive line for Green Bay. Whitehurst, they bring the blitz, and outside, it's picked up by Havener. The tight end, fullback, linebacker rumbling to the 21, and the Packers say touche and get the turnover of their own, and Havener is the one to get it.
I like Spencer Havener. He's a throwback, Kevin. He's like Chuck Bednarik. Last is a 60-minute man. Offense, defense, special teams. He does it all.
Two years out of UCLA, Havener just made the interception, spent 3 separate stints on the Green Bay practice squad. He was a 4-year starter at LSU, to UCLA, a team captain. He finished 3rd all-time in tackles at UCLA. And he played some tight end last year, of course, especially when Finley was injured. He caught 4 touchdown passes.
He's a football player.
He is, indeed.
He can do it all. You can't have enough players like that on your roster.
Flynn remains the quarterback. Newhouse is the new left tackle. Porter. Kavelic makes the stop defensively for Seattle after the gain of 3. Havener. That's what, those are the kind of guys that are worth every. He plays special teams, offense and defense, and a couple different positions on offense at that. As Shields, who fumbled before, is saved by his teammate Havener. Dietrich Smith remains the center. McDonald is the new right guard. Again, Lang is the right tackle. Barber is the left guard. He provides a block right there. That is incomplete to Patrick Williams across the way.
Much better, though, handling the pressure up inside. And this was a problem last week with the second unit, but a much better job tonight. You see Seattle, they brought 2 linebackers up there inside, and the fullback, Wynn Johnson, did a really nice job with it.
Williams, bottom of your screen. Sean Dorr will be a receiver. Corliss, tight end, is in motion. Kuhn in the backfield, 3rd and 7. They need the 31. Barber and Newhouse with the block. Flynn gets the first down, scrambling to the 32. Nice move by Flynn, who just seems to will his 2nd and 3rd teamers forward. He's got a gain of 8 right there, which will send the chains 1st and 10.
Coaching. They work on this in practice, Kevin. When things break down, they work on this specific drill, pulling the ball down, running, getting that first down, and just a good alert play by Matt Flynn.
1st and 10. Porter.
Well, he runs hard.
He does, and fast, as he takes it to about the 39-yard line, picking up 7 on first down. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
I'll tell you, to play in this offense as a running back, you have to be decisive. And, they're not looking for guys back there that, looking for the big cut or the big run. Just someone who's going to be decisive, take one cut and head downhill with some power and some speed.
With Lumpkin injured, Porter getting all the carries now. 2nd and 3. He's got 8 carries and 27 yards after carrying it 9 times last week for 38. Look at the time for Flynn. And his receiver got caught up in traffic, and West went down. It was yellow on the field at the 44. Justin West, a rookie out of Fresno State, undrafted. Wide receiver and a returner in college and a 3-year starter.
Well, I like that
Pass
call.
interference, number 28. Defense, automatic. First down.
Rookie Walter Thurman out of Oregon, 4th-round pick, guilty.
You see, one-on-one. I like the call by Mike, though. 2nd and 3, take a shot down the field, and we probably don't talk about that enough. You know, Mike McCarthy's a great play caller. Last year, they had a franchise record. They scored 461 points a year ago.
Kuhn playing running back here around the block by Quinn Johnson on a 1st and 10 on that 17-yard penalty in the gain to the 36. Kuhn showing some versatility.
Yeah, the more you can do. Fullback, put him back in the eye, let him run the ball a little bit.
Are you seeing that more, Rich, when you take a look at the NFL players having to play more than one position with camp restraints and injuries and lack of depth on a lot of teams?
Well, it's something that they preached here in Green Bay. And I think that a guy like Kuhn, I mean, behind a big fullback like Quinn Johnson, and this guy can run the football.
It's 2nd down, 2. Incomplete. Zipping it outside and looking for Sean Gore, who might be the fastest receiver in camp of the group.
Yeah, I don't like that. You know, that was a running play as well. They have that option. We talked about it earlier on the backside, that slant. Look at the offensive lineman. The running, the blocking. Backs are anticipating the run, and Matt pulls up, tries to throw the slant route. Not a good decision there. On 2nd and 2, hand the ball to the back, let them pick up that 1st down.
Kuhn by himself. Crabtree is the tight end. 3rd and 2.
There it is.
Oh, nice block by Dietrich Smith, the center. Clearing the way with the dive to the 32. That's a gain of 3, and Kuhn gets the 1st down. A little school out in Pennsylvania where he set all kinds of records. He was on the Pittsburgh Steelers practice squad for a while. It was John Kuhn.
That offensive line starting to get some movement up front, Kevin. Starting to win that battle, starting to wear down that Seattle front 7.
Porter and Johnson comprise the eye. 1st and 10. Porter, I think he may have bobbled the ball. No gain on the play. If he did, he jumped on it in a hurry. I couldn't tell, though. I couldn't see. He gets up gimpy. This is the guy that didn't make the football team in his first try, so he joined the cheerleading squad, and he made that. Oh, it's Stillman.
And the more you can do, we talk about that.
Yeah, cheerlead.
And
that's a good point, Rich. 2nd down and 10. Flynn, Johnson with the block. Almost a great catch. Almost clutched onto by Jason Cherry, who was covered pretty well that time. Cherry was a late signee in camp.
Boy, nice job looking off the safety. Boy, he just misses this throw a little bit high and inside, and you want to protect your receivers. And what I mean by that is you don't want to stretch them out there in those vulnerable positions where they can get their helmet knocked off. And got to keep that one down low and inside.
Cherry was on the practice squads of both Carolina and Pittsburgh a season ago. Here's a 3rd and 10. West is on the move. Flynn. Taiwan Hagler's out there causing a lot of havoc on the defense.
Let's go back and look at Matt Flynn. He looks like he wasn't quite ready for that snap. He's got his eyes downfield. Does a nice job, though, adjusting and throwing it away here and not taking a sack. Now you give your field goal kicker a chance anyway. Sack there, you have no opportunity.
Here is Mason Crosby, 51-yard try. He's hit one from 34, and he belts this baby home from 51 yards away. A good sign for a guy that was slumping at the end of last season.
Well, it's confidence, Kevin, and like anything else.
Packers cash in on the interception of Hayden. Early in this game, the first-team offense for Green Bay looked sensational. They got a 1-yard touchdown pass to Kuhn, an 11-yard touchdown pass to Jermichael Finley, and then 34-yard field goal by Crosby. Those are the first 3 possessions by Green Bay's offense. Since that time, punt, halftime, interception, punt, fumble. They just got a 51-yard field goal. They trail by 4 halfway through the 4th.
And looking over your shoulder there, tale of 2 halves for Matt Flynn as well. Played really some solid football, 7 of 10 in the first half, 3 of 10 in the second half with the one INT.
Crosby just knocked one in from 51. Knocks this deep to Deion Butler from the 1. Penn State, second-year player. And he was brought down nicely on the play by Maurice Simpkins, who's out of Coastal Carolina. And here we go with Green Bay in Week 7, taking on Favre and the Vikings. They'll be at the Jets in Week 8. Taking a look at the new Meadowlands and the newest Jet, LaDainian Tomlinson. Back in Green Bay, Week 9, Romo and the Cowboys will be at Lambeau. Week 11, back against Favre and in Minnesota. Week 12 at Atlanta, and they're a good-looking team, and they got a healthy running back, Michael Turner back, as is Jarius Norwood. It is 1st and 10. Whitehurst remains. Ganther, the running back. Zombo was there. Let's take a look at the middle part of the schedule. About 2 on that previous play to the 28-yard line. It's difficult to say the least.
Yeah, it's brutal. You think about those weeks 7 through 12, and the Vikings, a playoff team a year ago. The Jets, playoff team. Cowboys, a playoff team. Atlanta, 9-7, back-to-back winning season. So 3 of the 5 on the road.
Harrell warming up. Tallies on that defensive line with Toribio and Jarius Wynn. 34 for Green Bay. Whitehurst hit by Wynn. And because the pressure came from Wynn, Whitehurst is wide on his throw and high to Ganther on that 2nd down and 7. Now it'll be 3rd down and 7. Take a look at Obiazer.
You see Wynn right down there. The bottom of your screen does a nice job using his hands, finishing the play.
Remember him in camp last year? His pass rush explosion is such a story of camp, and he made the team because of it. Georgia, undrafted. 3rd down and 7. Blitz. Tate, Golden Tate, covered by the Packers defensive back Jared Bush. Complete. Tate, famous as a rookie for breaking into a bakery here in Seattle because he was hungry for cupcakes at 2 in the morning. I say to that, who isn't?
He had him. A better throw gets that done. You got to keep it on the field and give the receiver a chance. And see Jared Bush there.
I'll correct something I just said. I said Wynn was an undrafted player out of Georgia. He was a 6th-round draft choice. And showing a lot last camp and trying to get some quality reps in this preseason. Here is the punt by John Ryan. And you see the return by Chaston West, who returned punts and kicks in college. And trying to make his mark on that 63-yard punt, the 11-yard return. We just saw the Vikings games. Both losses to Minnesota last year were very, very similar. In Minneapolis, Aaron Rodgers was sacked 8 times. And Brett Favre threw 3 touchdown passes, and the Vikings getting a win by 7. 4 weeks later, Favre threw 4 touchdowns at Lambeau in his return. Rodgers was sacked 6 more times. Packers fell 38-26.
Well, you mentioned it, 14 sacks in 2 games, and they gave up a number of big plays defensively. That was really the difference, and it really cost the Packers a chance to win the division.
There's Graham Harrell in there, and Kuhn gets the call with Lumpkin out. Grant finished for the night. They're short on running backs, and a gain for about 3 yards right there as we bring you up to date on Graham Harrell. You're out of Texas Tech, spent all last season on the injured list in the Canadian Football League with Saskatchewan. He was released in April. He signed with Green Bay in May. And over the last couple years, he has participated in the Cleveland Browns rookie minicamps. He leaves college football as the #1 passer in the history in terms of touchdowns and completions, and #2 all-time in the history of college football in yards. 2nd down and 6. Kuhn. Dietrich Smith, the center, with the block, and he tumbles head over heels to the 30-yard line on a gain of 6. He was at Texas Tech from 2005 to 2008 was Harrell. Only player in NCAA history with 2 5,000-yard seasons. We told you about the NCAA record, 134 touchdown passes. 2nd all-time in yards. In high school, he was the Texas High School Football Player of the Year. And his high school team won the state championship. And his dad was the head coach.
I'll be curious to see whether or not, Kevin, the Packers actually decide to carry 3 quarterbacks. They were one of a few teams last year that just carried 2. So,
good point.
When you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's made every start in his first 2 years, he's a durable guy, and you got a guy behind him like Matt Flynn, and so Indianapolis Colts, another team, just carried 2 quarterbacks last season.
Rodgers, just to finish off what you said, has started 32 consecutive games. That's the 6th longest streak currently in the league right now, behind number 1, you know who.
Brett Favre, and number 2, Peyton Manning.
Yep. Newhouse a block at left tackle. 1st and 10. Nice catch by West. Boy, you see him maneuver for the pass, and eventually brought down on the play by Cord Parks out of Northeastern. On 23-yard pickup, Harrell through the air with a first down.
Really nice throw by Graham Harrell. A back shoulder throw. He throws this on his back shoulder, stops the receiver in the hole. Nice adjustment. Boy, great location with the throw. And a real nice job by West right here, anticipating that back shoulder throw.
West from Fresno State. 1st and 10. Kuhn, blocked by Quinn Johnson. Kuhn to the 41, running against the 2nd and 3rd team defenders. But you know what? When you've got injured and limited space at that running back, you got to go to your fullback sometime to carry the load. That's what Kuhn's doing right now. He has a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
I like Kuhn in the eye. I think he should get more carries in this offense.
I agree.
He looks pretty sharp.
4 years out of Shippensburg. I told you he was claimed off waivers from Pittsburgh. He played a lot of games with the Steelers. He's done the same with Green Bay.
It's a lot easier to run when you have a big fullback like that in front of you.
2nd and 4. He just pile drives into the 38. Shy of a first down. Another player has lost their helmet. 5 carries and 27 yards before that carry right there. That's like the 4th or 5th helmet that has flown off tonight on a hit. That time losing it was Jonathan Lewis out of Virginia Tech.
One of 2 things. These players are out here banging it around. It's a physical game, or these guys are not doing a good enough job strapping it on.
Kuhn, undrafted, graduated with a degree in chemistry, and at Shippensburg he set 27 school records.
That's probably more carries than he had all of last year, is it? 6 carries?
Oh, absolutely.
Boy, that's a nice
Jackson
run.
in there, sidestepping. It's a foot race, and he's deep into the secondary and galloping to the 12. What a run by Jackson, who's got a whole new routine. He sleeps more, he eats better, he works out harder, and the results shown right there, a 26-yard run.
Boy, nice cut there, and then watch at the end here. Does a nice job cutting back up inside, and continues to run. Does a nice job putting 2 hands on that football at the end.
Chancellor brought him down.
This group's fired up. They want to win this game.
Absolutely they do. 1st and 10 at the 12 of Seattle. Jackson, Quinn Johnson with the block.
Oh, he's going to score.
And another block, and he's inside the pylon. That is a Packer touchdown.
Now, that kind of reminded me of the old Packer sweep back in the day with Vince Lombardi. They do a nice job sealing the edge. Good job by that right side of that offensive line, and of course Quinn Johnson continues to get some downfield blocks. Look at the movement up front here. Do a nice job. They pulled the guard. Look at Quinn Johnson, gets out and seals as well. Then Brandon Jackson finishes that run. Boy, he made a couple nice runs on that series.
Hasn't he? My goodness, 26 yards, and then that 12-yard run. Patient for his blocking. He's in great shape. He's having a terrific camp. 7-play, 80-yard drive. Crosby tacks on another, and the Packers are back on top with 3.5 to play. That was a drive authored by Brandon Jackson. Packers on top. Good-looking drive. Jackson was at the heart of it. Also, West had a pass reception at 23. You talked about the sweep. Nice blocking ahead. 57 on the ground for Green Bay on that drive. Crosby to kick off. Cord Parks is back. We'll take it out. Shields slowed him. Lee was there to hit him. Getting off that pile is the newest Packer, Maurice Simpkins. You know, he was only a rotation player at Nebraska. Play by Simpkins. And they like him. True Blue joined the Packers in honoring the era that established their championship roots with the vintage-style blue third jersey collection. Now at the Packers Pro Shop or PackersProShop.com.
We're going to wear the throwback jerseys this year.
Instead of these babies we got out. Charlie Whitehurst with a 1st and 10. Well, he's going to stretch the field a little bit as receiver cut in. You know who that is? That is Heckendorf, who was in the Packer camp last season. Cole Heckendorf, who played at North Dakota State. He's from Mosinee, Wisconsin.
And there's, obviously John Schneider, the general manager out here, is with the Packers the last several years, and so he's great familiarity with a lot of these players, and he brought several of them with him from Green Bay.
Whitehurst, by the way, 0 for his last 6, 2nd down and 10. Good throw, Golden Tate out of Notre Dame. He finished at the Irish program number 3 all-time in receptions. Did Golden Tate. 93 receptions a year ago. There's a penalty flag. And a hold on Seattle. They shot themselves in the foot often tonight. Or you can just, sometimes you don't lose the helmet yourself, you have it ripped off. 2nd down and 20. Penalty storage now. They need the 33 for a 1st down. Ooh, Tate drilled by Bush. There's a flag.
Was it helmet-to-helmet contact?
I don't know. Was it the helmet that hit or was the face mask of Bush that scraped the top of his helmet?
That's what you normally see when you...
I didn't think that Bush lowered his head. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it again.
You got to be so
Ruling
careful.
on the field as the pass is complete. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 24 on the defense, helmet-to-helmet contact to a defenseless receiver. 15-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Well, you probably heard it. Oh, he lowered it.
It's so hard to do. I mean, you're trying to make a play. Actually hits him with his shoulder.
He does. You're exactly right. I'd like to see that again.
He hits him with his right shoulder.
1st and 10. Whitehurst. That's a flag. It's going to be on Bush. It was intended for Golden Tate.
Pass interference.
That might have been
number
the
24.
Of the pads.
Defense. Automatic. 1st down.
That might have been the crack of the pads that made that.
It was such a violent hit that you just assume it was helmet to helmet. But he's trying to protect himself as well, and he lowers that right shoulder. I thought that was a bad call.
1st and 10, 43-yard line. Blitz for Tate against Bush. Incomplete. Tate was a 2nd-round pick. Let's watch it again. See if he leads with his right shoulder and kind of moves his head out of the way.
You're going to see him right here at the top of your screen. Yeah, he hits him with that right shoulder.
He did the right
shoulder
thing.
And forearm.
He did the right thing. We had a bad angle right there, but the one that was true was the one before this one here.
The other thing is Golden Tate's lowering his head.
He sure is. 2nd down and 10. Blitz again is on. Bill Capers is
that's
blitzing
intentional grounding. Sure was.
Capers blitzing much more.
Well, he had the back. Tried to throw that one at the feet of the back, but
There's no foul for intentional grounding. Number 49, the receiver was in the area.
It was actually 32.
Pass is incomplete. 3rd down.
Who is Quentin Ganther, who played for the Redskins last season. So it'll be 3rd down and 10.
You see him right here. He's just going to slide over. They have a screen called. You see the lineman get out in front, and he's just trying to throw it away because the back is right here on the ground.
There's Dom Capers.
NFL Coordinator of the Year.
I believe it. What a turnaround. 2nd-ranked defense in the NFL a season ago from
there it is.
ranking, and there's the interception. Shields again. Had one last week, has one right here. And Whitehurst has thrown a couple of picks.
Well, doesn't he feel good, huh?
Yes, he's got to.
After that turnover, and in fact, the defense went out there and saved him with another turnover to get it right back. But boy, to make a play like that to seal the game, it's got to help the young player's confidence.
Underwood and Martin had the interceptions last week, and Shields has one right there, holding on to it. He almost had one, but he dropped it last week at Lambeau against Cleveland. He holds on to this one. Harrell remains the Green Bay quarterback. Butler made the stop there after the interception by Sammy Shields. Oh, poor kid.
Can't get lined up.
He's had a hard time holding on to the ball. That time he held on when it mattered a lot. Jackson in the backfield with Quinn Johnson. 1st and 10. For Jackson again. Massive holes up there. He's got a first down. Nope, shy of it by a couple yards. He gets to the 37. Timeout taken by Seattle.
Well, it's a great way to start.
It is. He picks up a long 7 yards.
7 yards. Yep. Force Seattle to call a timeout. This is referred to as your 4-minute offense. Inside of 4 minutes with a lead in the game, you want to finish off the game. You want to run a couple plays, run the ball, and force Seattle to use some timeouts, but pick up a couple first downs and finish the ball game. And they spent a lot of time during the course of the week in practice in working on specific areas of the game. 2-minute offense, 4-minute offense, 3rd down, the red zone.
Campbell the right tackle. McDonald the right guard. Dietrich Smith is the center. Newhouse the left tackle.
Same play.
Barber's the left guard. 2nd down, just a couple to go.
Check the ball.
And Jackson holding on.
See him all in that pile, try to rip that ball out?
Sure, but he gets
somebody holds him up and
picks up 2.
Somebody else sticks a hand in there and tries to rip it out.
So they'll have a yard to go. It'll be 3rd and 1 as we check in again with Jesse Garcia.
Hey guys, the Packers don't need any more injuries at the running back position, but Quinn Porter has left the game with an ankle injury, the severity not known, but he will not return as there's only a couple of minutes left now.
They do like his toughness, but the ankle.
Well, injuries are such a part of it. You know, you're trying to make the football team. You think about the guys that are in front of you. Craig Lumpkin hurt, not playing tonight. James Starks, one of their draft picks, not playing tonight. About all the injuries, the linebacker position in the secondary. It's hard to play this game when you're 100%. It's almost impossible when you're not healthy, and it really hurts your chances of making this football team.
3rd and 1. Harrell on the quarterback keeper. Seattle is out of timeouts. Packers have 97 yards on the ground tonight. I'm sorry, in this quarter they've got 97 yards. Jackson has led the way in that regard. So will be a first down for Green Bay. This will take us to the 2-minute warning. Packers looking for their first preseason win. They hold on to the ball and get another first down. This baby is over. Packers got a couple of touchdown passes tonight early on from their first-team offensive quarterback Aaron Rodgers, but moments ago they took the lead after trailing for a good part of the second half. First of all, it was West who got this catch for 23. Then Jackson bursting on this particular run as he takes it for 26. And then he runs on in from 12 for the touchdown. Prior to this possession, Packers got a 51-yard field goal from Crosby.
That's how you win football games right there. Ability to run the ball and take care of it, not turn it over.
Packers think they're going to get in Green Bay between 6 and 6:30 this morning. The coaches are going to break down film tape on the way into Green Bay on the 3.5-hour flight. And they think they can then do their complete review by 10:30, and then Mike McCarthy's going to give the staff the day off.
Yeah, their work is never done. You know, you talk about being efficient. They'll start on the plane ride home tonight. They'll start looking at the videos and start going through all the cut-ups. They have to get their grades in. Each player will get graded on each play in this game. And then, of course, you think about the offensive plays, the defensive plays, as well as the kicking game. And, of course, they'll meet as a staff when they get back in Green Bay and continue to evaluate these players.
Victory formation for Harrell and the offense. 1st and 10 from the 33. Seattle is out of timeouts. And Green Bay, who lost last week to Cleveland 27-24, looks like they will beat Seattle tonight 27-24. Great night for the first team offense. Another terrific performance by Aaron Rodgers. Ed Flynn had a pretty good first half. He was so-so in the second, playing with second and third team offensive personnel. But overall, I would say that second string offensive line showed better tonight than they did last week against the Cleveland Browns.
I thought they did a much better job handling some of the protection, some of the pressures, and the other thing is the way they run. They did it in the running game. They really got after the Seattle front seven, did a nice job controlling the line of scrimmage, and I thought it made life a lot easier for both these quarterbacks.
Greg Jennings had a 56-yard pass reception on that first drive for Green Bay, which led to a 1-yard touchdown pass to Kuhn, who was himself terrific tonight. Finley had some nice receptions along the way. And the Packers will win it and go to 1-1 in the preseason, and Seattle will drop to 1-1. The Colts will come to Green Bay this week and play on ESPN, and then our next broadcast will be the final preseason game at the newly renovated Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, September 2nd. We hope you'll join us from Kansas City at that time. Well, after 2 games, Mr. MVP, what do you think so far of this team?
There's a lot of things that need to be corrected, but certainly I like the play of the offense. Beat up on defense, the linebackers in the secondary. Not a lot of the starters played tonight, but the kicking game, I think that continues to be a work in progress.
Always a pleasure to work with you and our sideline reporter Jesse Garcia, and of course former Pro Bowler Larry McCarron. Packers get a nice performance as well from the backups at other positions too, like wide receiver. There's going to be some very hard cuts to make. A team this good with so few spots available leads for incredible competition.
It really does, and injuries are such a part of it. That's why it's critical that the guys like Justin Harrell, Will Blackman, they continue to improve and make plays throughout the rest of this preseason.
All right, have a good trip back home, and we'll see you in about 10 days or so, I guess, down in Kansas City. Our producer, Ross Schneiderman, and our director, the lovely Suzanne Smith. All of us, to all of you, have a great night. The Packers a winner tonight. You've been watching the Packers Television Network.